Hey guys, I started even though I'm not ready because I just saw that there's a Karen Reed hearing. Does anyone know where I can stream it from? Besides, I'm not going to snipe Melanie. I'm trying to find it. Oh shit. Um, damn it, shut up. All right. If anyone is listening right now and knows where I can get it, the link to watch it besides Melanie. Shit. Maylin, where are you? You always know where to get this shit. How come I can't find it anywhere? Oh, I got it, I think. Oh, did it seriously just end? I find it and it ended. So I found it, but I'm going to rewind it to the beginning. So while I finish watching my hair, in case you guys missed it, I'm going to put this on. Let's rewind it now. So it started at 2 o'clock, so half hour. All right.
Sure. So, Judge, we'll stay away from the 4th of July. The week after, I can do 6th, 7th, or 8th. That's all fine. We're available all of those days. 7th to Tuesday.
Okay, guys, so in case you're just getting here, hi, Cheryl, Maylin, Moni G, love you guys. I have to finish flow drying my hair because I will be going on camera for even at least a few minutes to open my lovely present that the lovely Superwoman Maylin sent to me. But it took me so long to actually get up and get going this morning. I'm going to go finish doing that. You guys can watch. I will listen. I'll be back.
To want to, I had said to him is that if you wanted to bring them all in front of me, either today or tomorrow or something, we can go on the record. Maybe I'll talk to somebody about that. No, he's going to stay with them. I think most of it. Yeah, with most of it. Yeah, yeah. No. Maybe we'll talk. We'll talk. Yeah. I don't think so. Unless something changed. Mr. Krowski, how you doing?
You're on the bench at 1:59.
Yeah, well, it was 2:03 you came in. It means you're 4 minutes late.
Next, for the court numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. Number 1 is Commonwealth versus Miles King, 21 CR 320. Mr. King is present and represented by attorneys Rosemary Scapicchio and Nicole Scapicchio. Also before the court, Commonwealth number 2, Commonwealth versus Bianca Chanchio, 22 CR 265. Ms. Chanchio is not present. Her presence is waived by her attorney, Joseph Cataldo.
Yes.
Also before the court, Commonwealth versus Giovanni De Los Santos, number 3 on today's list. Mr. De Los Santos is not present. His presence was waived by his attorney, Joseph Krowski Jr. And finally, before the court, number 4, Commonwealth versus Sean Johnson, 22 CR 268. Mr. Johnson is present and represented by attorney Rosemary Scapicchio. For the Commonwealth, we have Lisa Beatty and Pamela Alford. And if the parties, and for Michael Proctor, we have attorney Tom DeGangi, and for Carrie, we have attorney Aaron Rosenberg. If the parties could please all identify themselves for the record, beginning with the Commonwealth.
Good afternoon, Lisa Beatty for the Commonwealth.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Pamela Alford for the Commonwealth.
Good afternoon.
Attorney Joseph Krowski Jr. on behalf of Giovanni De Los Santos.
Okay, hi.
Good afternoon, Rosemary speaking on behalf of Mr. King and on behalf of Mr. Johnson.
Okay.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Nicole Scapicchio on behalf of Mr. King and Mr. Johnson.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Aaron Rosenberg on behalf of third party Karen Reed.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Tom DeGangi on behalf of third party Michael Proctor.
Hi, Mr. DeGan.
Joseph Cataldo on behalf of Bianca and Chanchio.
Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Cataldo. I'll start with counsel for Ms. Reed. Go right ahead. I've read the briefs and I'm familiar with the history of what's happened with this phone. So go right ahead.
Understood.
This is on something you haven't filed, right?
Say that again?
This is on a suit that you haven't filed as of yet.
This is a suit that we are going to file within the coming weeks as soon as the presentment period expires.
Okay.
So it was mentioned in the suit that we filed, and we said we were going to file it once that period expired, and that's the same suit that we're talking about.
Okay.
Because of some machinations and procedural things, that now has to be a whole separate lawsuit because the other lawsuit we filed was removed to federal court where we can't sue the state police. So it's going to be a separate case as of the next few weeks. But what we're seeking here, Your Honor, is actually a minor procedural amendment to the order that you issued last time we were all together. And it's an amendment that will have zero practical impact. As of today, according to the court and the Commonwealth and the parties, Ms. Reed may already use these communications from Mr. Proctor's private cell phone for any purpose in the pending O'Keefe litigation. And they're subject to the restrictions that we all agreed upon and that Your Honor accepted. So if we wanted to or needed to, we could today file these documents that we're talking about. All that we're asking is that we have permission from the court to do the same thing we're already allowed to do in the pending litigation in Plymouth, in the O'Keefe litigation, in the complaint that we file, and also in Superior Court. And we are agreeing that it would be subject to the exact same restrictions. The only change to our agreement with the Commonwealth and your order would be adding one other litigation that it could be used in. But again, another Superior Court litigation. This request is necessary because the communications are highly relevant to the negligent hiring, supervision, and training claims that Ms. Reed is bringing against the Massachusetts State Police, as well as the town of Canton, which she's going to do in a matter of weeks, as I just told Your Honor. And these relate to primarily Mr. Proctor, as well as Canton Police Sergeant Sean Good. These messages contain images of, as is already in the record and as the Commonwealth has said, and information about women that appear to be unrelated to the people in the conversations and likely unaware that they are contained, these pictures or messages are contained within this data. We've already agreed that that is subject to strict confidentiality provisions. We are not able to use those unless we come to you and ask, and we are not asking for that right now. What we're asking for is the messages, primarily the messages written by Michael Proctor and Sergeant Good of the Canton Police. But now the Commonwealth, in its opposition to this procedural motion, is attempting to tell Ms. Reed, a private party in civil litigation, what she does and does not need or get to use in the complaint that she's going to file. There is nothing in the rules, the law, or anything else that gives the Commonwealth the right or the ability to do that. And this is not premature at all. Ms. Reed does not need to wait according to any rule or law. She does not need to wait until discovery to use evidence and communications that she already knows about. So frankly, it's unclear why the Commonwealth is joining with Mr. Proctor to oppose this motion today. These existing restrictions are more than sufficient to protect the legitimate confidential images of women or other people that are not Michael Proctor, are not Sergeant Good, are not otherwise relevant. But the only reason why we need to even come to you today is because when Ms. Reed tried to add these claims to the existing O'Keefe case, a number of parties and third parties objected and opposed that, and she was unable to bring those claims in the existing case. If that hadn't happened, this wouldn't even be necessary. We'd already be able to use them. Now, as opposed to the Commonwealth, Your Honor, it's very clear why Michael Proctor opposes this motion. As we said in our papers, these communications are not private, they're not personal, they're not confidential, and they're not privileged. But what they are is staggeringly anti-woman, racist, homophobic, anti-Semitic, among other things. And that description applies to messages from both Mr. Proctor and Sergeant Good of the Canton Police Department. So it's understandable why Mr. Proctor wants to keep that secret, but he has no right or basis to do so. As a reminder, and I understand you're aware of the history having been involved, but...
Okay, they just verified finally that Sergeant Good has racist and anti-woman text messages and stuff along with Proctor, and yet what is Good still on fucking paid leave, isn't he? Or is he seriously, they've been investigating him for 6 fucking months. Hurry the fuck up.
Ms. Reed only has access, Ms. Reed and other defendants only have access to this because the court ordered the Commonwealth to get this phone and to conduct this review. According to Mr. Proctor's own counsel, between the time that the phone was returned to Mr. Proctor by the Commonwealth and counsel was engaged, he conveniently lost that phone. So this is the only way that these documents are available. In this opposition, he just rehashes the same arguments that Your Honor rejected in the prior motion where we were aligned with the Commonwealth. They're not private, they're not protected messages. These are messages he shared with his group chat of friends. And he also now triples or quadruples, I've lost count, down on the argument that the court should restrict use of his own chats, his own messages, because he chose to share images and private information relating to third-party women with his friends. He wants to restrict use of that now to protect those women's rights. I think the absurdity of that argument is clear.
Yeah, it's not to protect
In
their
a normal
rights.
civil case, there would be no question that Mr. Reed could use these
Hide
documents
the shit he
in a
did.
coming complaint, but obviously this is not any civil case. We recognize that. So we're here again, seeking the court's permission to do so again, subject to the exact same confidentiality provisions that everyone has already agreed to.
Okay, and so you're talking about the February 26th order on the O'Keefe versus CC Hospitality, that same order that I issued?
Correct.
Okay.
And the only change would be adding the other litigation.
this matter here.
Correct.
Okay, let me hear from Mr. Proctor's counsel. Go right ahead.
Your Honor, the plaintiff purports to bring a
Look at this
claim
dude.
under Chapter
Oh my, look at his
258 for
hair.
negligent hiring and supervision.
Did he take
not
any
against
lessons
Mr.
from
Proctor,
fucking
not
Lally?
against Sergeant Good, but against Mr. Proctor's employer, the Mass State Police. The documents that you ordered produced in February of this year
This idiot
are
representing
text messages
Proctor.
and
Wow.
images from a private cell phone.
It
It's a matter
doesn't
of
matter.
Public record that back in January.
He made
and
it
February
not
of
private by talking
2022,
about work
and
stuff
well
on it.
prior to
A
that,
hole.
The Mass State Police did not have any policy or procedure governing the use of private cell
I'm
phones.
serious,
by their
Maylan.
troopers.
I hate to pause it. Sorry, I only pause it for a second. So don't talk over this asshole. But seriously, he's another one in the morning. This morning, look at it. He went through all his hair gel and was like, fuck, it's still not right, but I gotta get to court. Damn it.
Okay, so if he wants to bring a negligent hiring claim against the Mass State Police There's no way, and the plaintiff doesn't allege this, or excuse me, Ms. Reed doesn't
Oh, no.
allege this or plead it in her motion that the Mass State Police could have known about these text messages on a private cell phone, should have known about these text messages on a private phone, or through the reasonable use of discretion would have ordered a Mass State Police trooper to turn over his private cell phone after working there for 12 years.
They did.
In fact, Your Honor, I'm not
He
aware of
conveniently
any
lost it, you asshole.
employer in the
Are
Commonwealth,
you
or perhaps
fucking
even
kidding me?
nationwide, that orders their employees to turn over their private cell phones before they're hired or after they're hired. That would be tantamount, with all due respect, Your Honor, to the trial court or
I'm sorry. Two things real quick. Malin, can you do me one quick favor? I didn't share my link in Discord today. Can you share it in Rat House and my Discord? And second, did he seriously trying to argue that it was his personal cell phone and it wasn't ordered to be turned over? Yeah, it fucking was. He conveniently, quote unquote, lost it. Bullshit.
the governor putting you on the bench saying, I want to look at your cell phones. It just doesn't happen, Your Honor.
That's because they don't do personal things, work on their personal phone.
Secondly, Your Honor, there are privacy interests here. In footnote number 2, I believe, of Ms. Reed's motion, she recognizes, and Attorney Rosenberg just said it right now, these text messages and these alleged photographs are unrelated to the Karen Reed case. What relevance can they have to a negligent
show
hiring,
bias,
training, and retention claim against
to
the Mass
show
State Police?
bias? The
When Mr.
same
Proctor
reason they
is
can
not
use it
even
in the other
named
case.
defendant
Dude,
in
go
that
back to law
lawsuit.
school.
Moreover, Your Honor, if you read Exhibit 1 to my opposition, it's a 17-page opinion by Justice Krupp.
Yeah, I read it.
Go to
Okay,
CBS and get
so
some
you
more
saw
hair
in there,
gel.
Your Honor, that Justice Krupp back in November 2023 had serious concerns about the
Aw, thanks,
privacy
Maitland.
interests that were being brought upon by Miss Reed's followers, okay?
Hey, James.
Cell phone calls to Michael Proctor's wife, posting Michael Proctor's wife's cell phone on a
Dodo,
public
that's
forum,
you're fine. I
posting
love it.
the name of her
I gotta put this
employer on a
comment
public
back up, though.
forum,
It's hilarious.
posting her employer
I am
phone
coming in
number on a
spicy. You
public
know why,
forum,
Moni
and
G?
encouraging Miss Reed's followers to bombard the employer. What is going to happen? I'm not aware, Your Honor, and I'll say this frankly, I'm not a party to the wrongful death case down in Plymouth. But if there's no confidentiality order in that suit, there's nothing protecting any person from using this information and going after Proctor, the witnesses, the House defendants. You may be aware that just about a week ago, the people that lived inside or that were inside.
Oh, thank you,
34
Malin.
Fairview Road in Canton on the night of this murder actually filed a defamation suit against Ms. Proctor. Now, what's telling, Your Honor, is I came across some information that I did not have at the time I filed my opposition. And it's a motion in opposition to a motion to compel, strike that. It's an opposition to a motion to compel filed by the town of Canton on a motion to compel brought by Attorney Rosenberg. Attorney Rosenberg and Ms. Reed are seeking the personnel files of Sergeant Good. And this was filed
Good.
about 3 weeks ago on the docket. And the town of Canton alleges that when they received this original keeper of record subpoena for Sergeant Good's personnel file, the town of Canton turned over a one-page document, which was a letter putting Sergeant Good on paid administrative leave.
Yeah, he's getting
According to
paid.
the town of
Such
Canton's
bullshit.
filings, that decision had nothing to do with the Karen Reed case. However, according to page 2 of that opposition, the town of Canton attorney states,
Sorry, pausing again, but it kind of had everything to do with the Karen Reed case, because if it wasn't for the Karen Reed case, the Proctor text messages wouldn't have come out, which wouldn't have exposed Proctor and Good. You dumb shit.
On or about December 12, 2026, Town Council produced to Defendant's Counsel a copy of the notice of placement on paid administrative leave letter issued to Sergeant Good. Immediately after the letter was produced to the defendant, copies of the letter were posted online. Within 24 hours, someone leaked it to the press. You've got
Oh.
nude photos allegedly in this case that they want to might make reference to in this litigation. You've got the privacy interests of witnesses. You've got the privacy interests of victims. None of this is relevant to a negligent hiring, retraining, and retention claim against the Mass State Police, Your Honor. I would also state that there's no joinder here between myself and the Commonwealth. We didn't join motions. I filed my own separate opposition. I just want to clear that up. There's no agreement between us. So based on all that, Your Honor, I think Mr. Proctor's been through quite enough here.
Oh,
I'd state to the
he's
court,
been through
Your Honor, that this is a gentleman
Are you fucking
who
kidding me
committed
right
12 years of his life as a Mass State Trooper. During those 12 years as a Mass State Trooper,
What about what
he
Karen
was
Reed went through because of
evaluated
that
every single
asshole?
year by his supervisors. He was never disciplined.
James,
He
I
never
didn't even
received a
notice
letter
until
of
you pointed
warning,
it out.
was never suspended. He worked 40 hours a week, keeping drug dealers away from our kids' schools, murderers away from our family, rapists away from our
Are you
children.
shitting me?
It's well known, Your Honor,
Can you
that
seriously
after
just
these
argue
records
that
came
shit?
out, his cell phone texts, which he openly admitted in court that he sent, after they came out, the Norfolk District Attorney's Office investigated him, the Mass State Police investigated him, and according to the special prosecutor who uttered an open court, perhaps this one, on March 4th, 2025, a federal grand jury investigated him and closed the investigation. This is nothing but a fishing expedition, Your Honor, and I think it should stop here.
Yeah, and he got fired.
All right, why don't I do this? I'll go to the Commonwealth last. Why don't I start with Attorney Scarpiccio? I'll go to Mr. Krowski and then Mr. Cataldo. Attorney Costa, are you still part of this or is your?
I am not. I'm just
Okay.
duty attorney today.
Nice to see you.
I wish I was.
Okay,
We miss you.
I wish I was.
go right ahead.
Yeah, so we don't really have a position with respect to anything that's going on here.
Yeah,
We're here for two reasons. One, because again, we want to explain to the court that this protective order is ridiculous. He doesn't meet any of the conditions for which a protective order should issue. He's not a victim. He doesn't need protection. No one has threatened him. He says some vulgar, disgusting things that apparently repeatedly from 2014 to 2022, and shares it with his friends like it's please pass the buck. That's the tone of these conversations.
Exactly.
So the protective orders, for my purposes, are interfering with my client's ability to get a fair trial. Right now, my client, Mr. Johnson, is housed at the Norfolk County House of Correction. We moved mountains
this
to get
lady?
access to what we call the Proctor materials. And right now, there's a 44,000 page report that comes from his phone.
Hey, hippie chick.
And there's additional information, close to 70,000 documents that he has to review. Right now, he gets 2 hours a week to review them. He's got a November trial date. It's not going to happen, Judge. It's taken me almost 7 months to get through the bulk of what was happening with Trooper Proctor. So I'm here again, Judge, saying that this man should not be treated any differently than any other witness in any other case. Why are we protecting him? Why is the Commonwealth protecting him? Why is anyone protecting him? The public should get to know exactly who he is and what he's done. They do that with any witness. If it's a regular witness who appears before any judiciary body and they've done something wrong, they have criminal records that they plaster all over the front page of papers. Nothing like that is private. And so
Exactly. Who is this lady? I like her.
That's really the issue that I have. And I've also, we're not arguing today, Judge, but I've filed motions in both Mr. King and Mr. Johnson's case for materials regarding Mr. Proctor's hiring, Mr. Proctor's application, Mr. Proctor's, whoever reviewed that application, any of the exhibits to that application, and then any and all of his training, because I think his lawyer said it best. Our point is that he's biased. It's certainly against Black and brown individuals. I think Ms. Reed has a different issue, and I'm not disputing that he's biased against women as well. But in this case, Judge.
Oh, her
our
name's
position is
Rosemary?
that it's
Thank
not a
you.
separate
Yes, I
entity.
like
In other
her.
words, when we did the Ellis case, and we knew the police officers in Ellis were committing crimes, in the beginning, when the first lawyers filed that motion for a new trial, we couldn't connect the crimes to the actual the conviction in Ellis. And it took us 18 years to be able to do that. We were able to finally connect it. This is completely different. This isn't like that. It's not a separate entity. It's who this man is. He's a racist, really a racist person from the beginning. Some of the things that he says, Judge, which I know you've heard through the grapevine, but some of the things that he says, like he'll say things like, "It's kill an N-word in Canton Day." Everybody get there. Like,
I get
this is
your
what we're
point.
dealing with, Judge.
I get
Oh
your
my
What are we
God.
protecting? That's what I can't figure out. What are we protecting here?
Okay.
Oh
Why
my
isn't he
God.
subject to the same type of scrutiny that every other witness and every other case is subject to. And I'm saying it specifically for Mr. Johnson, who's in custody, who doesn't have
Hold on. His text message, we knew it was racist. We knew it was chauvinistic. We knew he was a womanizer. But he literally said that in his text. It's kill an end day. I want to hear that again.
I get
And
your
so
point.
what are we protecting? That's
All
what I can't figure out. What are we protecting here?
Okay.
Why? I know you've heard through the grapevine, but some of the things that he says, like he'll say things like, "It's kill an N-word in Canton Day."
I get
this is
your
what we're
point.
dealing with, Judge.
I get
And
your
so
point.
what are we protecting? That's what I can't figure
Why
out.
is what? Why is Good still
Why
getting
isn't he
paid?
subject to the
He's
same
sitting
type
home
of
for this
scrutiny
shit.
that every other witness and every other case is subject to. And I'm saying it specifically for Mr. Johnson, who's in custody, who doesn't have access to his materials, who can't be ready for a November trial date unless.
Oh, this is Star PTO. Okay,
in this
thanks,
case, the
Sam.
difference that I want the court to consider.
I love
is to
her.
be able to give him all of these materials in paper form, in a single cell, so he can review them and be ready for his November.
I can't believe it.
Thanks very much.
The fact,
Attorney
I'm
Krosky.
sorry, hold on, I'm going to pause it real quick before I hear what the judge has to say. The fact that Good is still sitting at home and getting fucking paid, I would be out there every fucking day I could with a sign if I lived there saying, "Fire his fucking racist ass."
Judge, thank you. On behalf of Mr. De Los Santos, to the
Stop
extent we
paying
have
him.
any standing whatsoever in the civil matter, which seems to be what we're addressing, Mr. De Los Santos does not object to the free flow of information, any and all relevant information being turned over to Ms. Reed's counsel. As a matter of fact, I think that Mr. De Los Santos inevitably will benefit from the more information that is shared related to Trooper Proctor in the contents of his cell phone. I can echo the comments of Attorney Scarpiccio. We do have access to 44,000 pages. I will tell you, it is breathtaking, upsetting, and unnerving. We agreed to a protective order at the beginning of this case just because we wanted to get the case moving along. I can tell you that I anticipate within the next 3 to 4 months, once we've had a chance to go through all of this documentation, to get total and absolute relief from the protective order in the criminal case. I will say, we are mindful. We are mindful there are some innocent third parties that have been captured in all of the malfeasance in the cell phone. We'll do whatever we can and work with the court and Commonwealth to make sure that we.
Hold on, Heavy Chick. I know that that's Proctor's text message, but Good is put on administrative leave because he was on the other end of these text messages, specifically the ones tied to this kind of bullshit, which is why he was investigated and then put on administrative leave. Even if he didn't say that one, you know that he was participating in ones like it, or else he wouldn't have been put on administrative leave. And it shouldn't take 6 fucking months. He should not be getting paid for 6 fucking months. Just my opinion.
Don't bring them into this. We don't re-victimize them. We don't harass them. But the information in them is all germane to how an investigation in my client's case, Mr. De Los Santos's, was conducted. So we have absolutely unequivocally no objection to what is sought by Ms. Reed's attorney. I just think it's not my case, a civil suit, but I think there was counsel misspoke. Ms. Proctor has not been sued for
Yeah, I got it.
defamation. But that's our position, and I have talked to Mr. De Los Santos about this.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. No objection. No
Oh.
objection.
Thank you. Whoever wants to argue for the Commonwealth. Attorney Bay.
So my understanding of the purpose of today's hearing was to deal with the civil matter.
It is.
If counsel for either of the defendants wants to make a written motion to alter the terms of the protective order, they are free to do that at any time, and we are happy to engage in conversation outside of filing of a written motion. The Commonwealth, because there is significant interest in what's happening here today, I would like to make it clear that the Commonwealth has no interest in protecting former Trooper Proctor's statements that are contained on these phones, and we have engaged in providing expedient production of discovery to these defendants and all other defendants who are impacted.
It sure seems like they're still trying to protect him.
I want to make it clear that the reason that we had to seek and obtain a protective order to begin with was in part because this court directed us to do so when you directed us to obtain this material. So we follow court orders. That's number one.
I gotcha. Have you
As
checked?
some people have alluded to, there is material contained within the thread of these text chats that does impact significantly innocent and unknowing persons. So the only way to provide the true substance of these text threads was to provide it in its entirety with a protective order. That's what we did, and I think that defense counsel would agree that that was the appropriate way to provide it at that time. If we need to make alterations, we certainly can do that. In terms of today, we have continued to treat all entities that have sought this information equitably and fairly. If there is a request for this information, and in this case, it was a subpoena that we responded to. The subpoena came from a specific civil case. We have a confidentiality agreement that relates to this material that Ms. Reed and her counsel agreed to. Then we sought alteration, and this was contemplated in the confidentiality agreement from this court to produce this material for that lawsuit. We did that. That is what Ms. Reed agreed to. She now wants to change that, and then there would not be any sort of litigation or any sort of court proceeding overseeing the next production. And that is the fundamental difference. In a couple of weeks, if there's a lawsuit that's filed, there can be another subpoena. We can then treat all parties, whoever the parties are, to whatever lawsuit, identically produce discovery in an orderly format to those parties, assuming that that's what's appropriate at that point in time. It is completely unclear to us.
No, I didn't, Malin.
And I, again, want to reiterate to the court.
How long do you got?
Multiple parties in the same way.
Yeah.
It's not just Ms. Reed, the town of Canton, Post. There are a number of different entities that have reached out to us asking for this material that we have said we cannot just give it to you. So it doesn't matter who the entity is, we are asking that there be a court proceeding overseeing this material.
Okay, thanks very much. I'll just give you a minute. Go right ahead.
Thank you. First of all, there is a court proceeding overseeing this materials. It's your honor. It's why we're here, why I've now been here twice as the civil attorney. So again, all I'm asking is you add one case to what you've already ordered. We would have to comply with the remainder of your order in that case.
Do you intend to file that suit within the next month?
Yes.
When does the presentment period end?
So the state police has actually rejected the presentment, so we could file that. But the town of Canton's period elapses roughly mid-May. So that's right around the time.
Okay. All right.
Just briefly, the town of Canton's allegations were brought up about leaking. Ms. Reed hasn't leaked anything. There's no evidence of Ms. Reed leaking anything. First of all, the document that the town of Canton referred to, Sergeant Good's dismissal notice, was produced also by the town of Canton to a third party, not Ms. Reed, not my office, in response to a public records request. The media reporting on that letter that Mr. Proctor's counsel is referring to explicitly says this was obtained by, and it gives the Twitter handle of the party that got that document through public records request. It didn't come from Mr. Reed. So that's just not true. Town of Canton's not here to argue it, but it's not accurate. Also, there was nothing preventing that from becoming public. If for some reason it had come from our office, it's allowed to be public. There's no restriction. So this idea that leaking, we heard it in the oppositions to this case, that things that are filed publicly will unquestionably be leaked. If they're filed publicly, they don't need to be leaked. They're filed publicly. And we're already allowed to do that in the O'Keefe case. We are just asking to be able to do that elsewhere. And finally, as to relevance, Mr. DeGangi referred to the claims. He referred to what statute it's under, who's a party, what we allege. We haven't filed the complaint yet. He doesn't know what we're going to allege. The point is, we have these documents. They're relevant to the claim that we're going to bring. And when Mr. Proctor and his counsel read our complaint, they'll see why they are so relevant. But this is not a matter we should be talking about relevance in a criminal session where we're just talking about the confidentiality and protecting third parties, which we all want to do.
Okay, thank you, Walt.
Your
I'll
Honor,
take it
may I-
under advisement.
May I
I'll
have-
give you,
Malin, I look back, I
10
don't
seconds.
see it.
yeah, go ahead.
What
If
time do you
allow
have
Ms.
till
Reed's
today?
motion, I would ask that the court also issue an order allowing the DA's office to produce these 44,000 pages of documents. I've never seen them, and that's in my motion.
Okay.
I don't know what that means, quite honest.
All right.
So I'm not going to be able to comply with 44,000 pages. So I just want to, that's not the way we produce materials. So.
Okay, I'll take it under advisement.
Judge, I just correct the record. Carmel said we hadn't filed a motion on record in Mr. King's case, and I believe Mr. Johnson's case is our motion in response to the Carmel's motion to provide law enforcement bodies information. This is the post stuff. And or to vacate or modify the protective order. It's already on file, Judge. That's all I have to say.
And we
Okay.
litigated that, we changed the order, we litigated before Judge Krupp, and that is the modification that is presently in point.
Nice to see you all. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Taken under advisement, Mr. King's case is
Okay.
next on June 18th at 3:30. As to De Los Santos et al., that's on May 8th at 2 p.m.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you, Madam
Yeah.
Clerk.
Just so you know, May 8th, I may be on trial, so Mr. Cross may be standing.
Okay, I think Judge Pedro, is that in this session, Attorney Scott Petro?
I don't think that it is, Judge. No, I think it's in.
It'll be with Judge Sullivan.
Oh, Judge Sullivan, yeah.
I just want to let the court
I'm
know.
almost
Thanks.
ready anyways.
All right. Good.
Thank you.
Bye.
You are muted.
Okay, that's that. Yeah, 44,000 pages is insane. Holy fucking shit. Okay, hold on a second. Okay. All right. So I need about 5 more minutes before I can go on camera. There's one more thing I got to do. So I don't know who the hell is reading all that shit. Maylin has to head out between 3:30 and 3:45, and I'm going on camera for her so I can open my lovely present that's been sitting here for a couple days that she sent to me. But while I take the 5 minutes I need, let me pull something up real quick for you guys to watch. Oh, Hillary, watch this.
Colin Albert was so involved. Why am I convinced of this? Karen Reed is very convinced that Colin was involved.
Do you believe that Karen intentionally withheld the relationship with Higgy Bear from everyone initially?
Yeah, especially me. 100% she did. I'm not that happy about that, but whatever. I get it. She's embarrassed about it. I don't know why. You'd have to ask her why she did that, but I can only opine that perhaps she felt some level of guilt. Like, she didn't kill John, but she kind of said she dropped him off at a house where a man was inside who she was flirting with. And we don't know what John knew about that. And we don't know how upset Higgins was about this.
So I said, are you coming here, followed by 3 question marks?
It takes a lot of balls to text a woman at a bar when she's standing next to her boyfriend.
Well, she didn't respond.
That was at 11:30. They hadn't texted in well over a week. And he sees her right there. And like John's right there. And you know John. And you're texting her. What if John saw that? You know, like that's ballsy to do at the bar. And of course he's drunk and he's like, you didn't text her for like 2 weeks. And now all of a sudden you're just being all, well, what, motherfucker? Take a hit. Like, what's wrong with you?
There are literally only 10 people on this earth that could have killed John O'Keefe. You can include,
I know.
yeah, so you can include all of those 10 people who had the biggest motive to kill John O'Keefe.
Brian Higgins.
Brian Higgins?
Right.
100% Brian Higgins. There's also accidents. I don't believe for a second that they planned to kill John O'Keefe.
No.
Agreed.
No.
Neither do I.
Anyone that could have knocked him over
Brian Higgins?
and caused his head to hit a stair or a cement ledge or whatever it was that caused that gash.
I don't even think that Brian Albert's the real dad because this guy is so much taller than everybody.
Brian Albert's not small.
Which is what makes it so utterly absurd that he's afraid of me.
I
When
mean,
you
it's
wear those big
ridiculous.
platform shoes.
He's 5'4" with platform shoes and wire rim glasses.
The platform shoes, right? That's it, right?
Did you actually
Mhm.
consider why Coco and Matt weren't named?
Because I've never called them murderers. And I always said that Matt McCabe's the guy at the barbecue working the grill. He's goofy. Matt McCabe's a goofy guy.
You first saw the SUV. By the way, sir, is this funny? I'm sorry.
This is not funny, sir. Not at all.
Well, I'm trying to get an answer that you won't give me, sir. When you talk to Michael.
He is goofy.
And, I mean, Nicole Albert's just cleaning, you know, and I mean, she's like,
I just kind of went to the kitchen. So I just did my usual thing. I just was picking up. It wasn't a huge mess, but I was just picking up the area, cleaning, probably checked the bathroom to make sure that was clean.
My mom got home and I knew went right to cleaning because she likes to clean.
My sister, Nicole, was in the kitchen wiping the counters because she's always cleaning. My sister was cleaning.
I couldn't believe when I heard her testify. When I heard her speak for the first time, I'm like, holy shit, this is Jen's sister. John's drunk, shit-faced. He's a big boy, and Brian Higgins is a big boy. When they go at it, it's like King Kong and Godzilla. A lot of shit, people are going to get hurt. And John doesn't seem like the kind of guy that backed down. You guys haven't seen this yet because we got a lot of discovery. We have all Jen McKeeb and Kerry Roberts text messages from January 9th to February 2nd. Let's just say it is a complete lie when Kerry Roberts says that she would have forgiven Karen Reed. As soon as she hired an attorney, they decided she was a bad guy for wanting to defend herself.
So Aiden, what's your plan with regard to prosecuting these 4 people? Because now you're in the position to do it. You can get discovery. Is there something that you really wanted to get, but you haven't been able to, but now you can?
I don't know. I don't know how any of this works. We're in the process of hiring another attorney. Like, I don't know what the plan is right now. I probably wouldn't say it on a show like this.
Sorry. Just let them know.
You probably smack me.
You need to have the right team. It can't just be one attorney, a criminal attorney. You need to have the backing of, let's say, a Corey Hopkins firm, a larger firm, and this is expensive, obviously, but then a local person, and then obviously a trial attorney. Then I represented Aiden earlier. I won't fight. I won't file a slap, and I won't file a motion to dismiss. I will just go right to whatever they want. I'll stay in their forum even. You, on the other hand, need to do the exact opposite, where you need to have a large firm that can really combat them on the papers.
This isn't going to be some, like the lawyer that represented Meredith that are our lawyer. It ain't going to be a lawyer. It's going to be like a real legit lawyer.
Yeah, so if you want to support Aiden, you can go to defendingthetruth.org. I made a big contribution last night, Aiden, to the defense team.
All right, guys.
Defendingthetruth.org. And
all right, hold on a second. I'm starting to freak out for a minute. So a few of you know, because I talked about this in voice chat and Discord and such, that I have been in the process of getting full dental implants for the last 1.5 years or so. And hold on, give me 1 second. So anyway, real quick, my top ones are good to go. My bottom ones are still in process, and I have temporary ones I can put on the bottom, which I normally do when I go out in front of people and such. And I cannot find where I put them. So I'm going to go on camera, but I just wanted to forewarn you guys, that I'm in the process of having stuff and there are trolls. And speaking of, hey, Zach, what's up? I have another troll real quick. Before I go on camera, I have to show you this lovely comment, which is why I came in feisty again today. I showed you guys last night my first comment troll. Not my live troll like Zach, a comment troll. I got this one, another one on the one about cults. They're both on this one, ironically enough.
That was all my fault.
Shut up, Scarlett. Look at this one. Says, this chick is real grifter. According to her description, she thinks donations, which is misspelled, so is according, is misspelled, can cure depression. Get the fuck out of here. I think that, I said the exact opposite, actually, in my lives many, many times, that money doesn't buy happiness. And it talks about my description, right? Let's look at my description in case you have not read it. So my description says, a place to share my opinions of psychological phenomena and true crime. Let's explore things like group thinking, cognitive dissonance, bystander effects, and confirmation bias together. Let's discuss things like turtle boy derangement syndrome and why people have nothing better to do with their lives than sit behind a keyboard and troll. I've always been interested in the mind, which is why I studied psychology. Oh, and by the way, I'm not above going petty. And then, of course, I put, if you or someone you know is struggling with mental health, call or text 988 crisis hotline or visit 988lifeline.org. And then I just have my links. That's it. It says, I now have memberships available on Buy Me a Coffee. My email, please send me an email if you'd like to join my Discord. If you'd like to send a donation, I have Chime, Buy Me a Coffee, and PayPal. And thank you. Where on earth do I even discuss in my description anywhere about what donations do for mental health? I thought it was quite funny. Because apparently this troll I have already now doesn't know how to, I point it out because it's hilarious. Because I don't know if they try to make a point with that kind of shit. You can't make a point when, first and foremost, you're making fun and you can't spell. And then you're trying to make fun of something that is literally non-existent. It's hysterical. Okay, so with that being said, one more second, hold on. While I take 2 more minutes to get ready, I'm going to go on camera. We're going to watch one more thing to have our laugh of the day.
What the fuck is this thing?
Get enough of it.
What is this thing? So I'm going to have sex with this thing tonight. Okay. And we're going to reenact the butt dial. Because again, we're going to give them the benefit of the doubt that maybe that they're telling the truth about this. I entered someone into my phone as Higgins, and we're going to see if we can call them while taking the pounder. And we'll try different positions too.
When he was first confronted, Brian Higgins first tried to claim that it had to have been a butt dial. That term butt dial is used by many of the Commonwealth's witnesses to explain the many calls between them and among them. And I've never seen a case where there have been so many butt dials, to be frank.
So,
but Mr. Higgins was already locked in. He already testified his phone was on the bedside table. His butt was in the bed, the phone was in the
This is a
table.
quote.
The two could not have met, Your Honor. There was no possibility of a butt dial. Also, first tried to claim that his phone call to Brian Higgins at 2:22 in the morning was a butt dial.
Okay.
He said that he was awake and watching TV, but he was called back to the grand jury to testify a second time. The second time, Brian Albert changed his testimony. That at 2:22 in the morning, he and his wife were in bed in an intimate situation. He claimed that he had his phone with him in the bed. So now he's claiming that it was during that intimate situation with his wife that he supposedly butt dialed Brian Higgins.
Okay.
He had no explanation, however, for how his phone picked up when Higgins called him back
Oh, yeah.
17 seconds
What about
later.
that?
He had no explanation for the 22-second phone conversation that followed. And it's worth noting that Higgins testified he never heard any intimate noises on the other end of the line either.
Well, in fairness, Brian Albert doesn't seem like the kind of guy that can make a woman come, but that's different. That's not a different story. Is there any truth to this? I don't know. So okay, so this is Nicole Albert. All right. And it's like, okay, so we've been drinking all day and, we've been married for 30 whatever years and you probably have mistresses on the side or whatever. And we're swinging, but you need to fuck me right now, Brian. Fuck me. Fuck me, Brian. Come on, let's go. I want to fuck right now. It's 2:30 in the morning. I don't care how drunk you are. Get your dick up and let's fucking go. Fuck me. Okay, sorry. Okay. So, well, let me just check my phone over here. Okay. So then Nicole's going to come and I guess the phone here. Okay. So then he's going to start off missionary. So he's, yeah, fuck me. Yeah. Okay. And then the phone is on Nicole's ass. Yeah, giving it to her. Good. Yeah, good. Yeah, you like that. Yeah, fucking fugitive unit. Yeah, you like that. You saw me on Boston Confidential, didn't you? You like that, huh? You like that, huh? And then okay, so let's see if I could call Higgins here. Let's see what happens. Right, let's go. Yeah. Dude, I can't even get to the passcode part. Yeah, you like that? Oh, you're a naughty girl, aren't you? You're a naughty girl. Yeah, you like that, huh? Huh? Yeah, I bet you do. I bet you fucking do. I can't even get to the passcode part. I can't even do it. So now we'll do role reverse. And then she's gonna ride me this time. This can't be the first one. So now she's gonna jump on me, and all right, we're gonna go like this. So the phone's on the butt.
This is me.
Yeah, you like that? I'm in the gang unit. Yeah. I got a bald head. I shaved my head. You like that? Oh yeah, Brian. Oh yeah, it's so hot. And I don't know. Okay.
Hold on.
Didn't work. Didn't call Higgins. Okay. Now, could Siri do it? So we'll do it like this. All right. Oh yeah, Brian. Siri, call Higgins.
Okay.
Didn't work. Actually, it did. That worked. So I entered someone as Higgins in my phone. That actually worked. Maybe Siri did it. I don't know. This is investigative journalism here, right, folks?
This is folks. Oh. So, that's too big. Oh well. So hi guys. It's so good to see you. You get to see me for a change. Thank you, Maylin. Thank you. Like I said, I have told people from the beginning that after my surgeries, I gained quite a bit of weight. I've lost quite a bit too now. I still have about 40 pounds to go. So yeah, that probably put me at my goal weight. So, but with my limited mobility, it is what it is. And it's you guys know, like I said, during the day, I go from laying on the couch to sitting in my chair to laying on the floor to literally laying in bed. So it is what it is. Anyways, with that being said, I don't know how to angle this so you can see. So I'm going to just angle this to the side. So we're going to open the present that Maylin sent for me. See, you can see I didn't open it early. I didn't tape it or anything, Maylin. I have to dye it. Oh, yeah. Hold on. So I talked about this the other day. I dye my hair. This is a color. It's just gone out. So this is my natural, almost my natural color now. So, and because my hair is so long and thick, I need 2 boxes. I use semi-permanent, so that's why it comes out so fast. Sorry. I told you my eyes, now I'm squinting like, now you know what I look like when I'm trying to read your comments. Aw, you guys, thanks for being here. And yes, like I said, as soon as I dye my hair, I just dyed my hair 2 months ago and it's already come out. Normally it lasts, well, no, I guess 2 months, about 60 days. And I buy these when they're on sale because you can get a really good deal. You can get like 2 for the price of 1, and you buy 4 at that time. So it's really good. Oh, Darth Vader. Hi, sweetie. You're doing okay? You got a purple knee, huh? I'm so sorry. Oh, I was just going to open it, Maylin, and now she's like, give me a minute. I need to make a cup of coffee. Okay. I should put my glasses on. That would probably help, right? Oh, shit. Where are they? Hold on. Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God. You're just going to have to deal with me squinting because I literally cannot find my glasses. You guys already know this about me too, that I would literally lose my head if it wasn't attached. So there's that. Darth Vader, I hurt myself like that all the time. I literally pulled or dislocated my shoulder because I missed the step going down the step, and I grabbed the railing too hard and then swung and twisted my shoulder right out of the socket. And then I've already talked too several times about how I face planted brick stairs 2 summers ago. Thought I broke my nose. I had a big gash. I had 2 black eyes. Oh, it was bad. Maylin, you got to tell me when you're back. Oh, you're back. Look at that. Perfect timing. Okay. Give me 1 more second. And another thing I talk about is how I'm constantly hot. So I just have to turn my fan on. Okay. Oh, by the way, got my J7 shade Boston Shady hat, everyone. Thank you, J7. So, bring on the presents. Yes, so here we go. I was very good. So tempted to open it and then tape it back up and pretend I didn't see it. But I didn't do it. I don't want to cut into anything. Nothing's gonna pop out at me, is it? I hope not. I don't need any jump scares today. Sleeper. Oh, there's more than one thing in here. Hold on. Sorry, guys. Maylin. Oh. Felt board. Yay. I have a feeling. Oh my God, Maylin, you went nuts. Oh my God. Sparkly fun pens. This is too cool. Oh my God, I talked about how I love pens. Oh my fucking God. Oh, and I had to, did you not see the scissors I had to use? My hair scissors, because I couldn't find my regular scissors. And look what I got. Fucking a pair of scissors. This is awesome. I got some fun sparkly pens. Woohoo! Hold on. Ooh, yay, more pens. Oh my God, this is too fun. I'm like a kid in a candy store. Ooh, oh, look at that one. Purple. I love it. Another one, another purple one. Ooh. For the bulletin boards. Oh my God. I'm so excited. Look for my little bulletin board so I can keep track of my shit and not lose everything, right? Okay. Oh my God. You went crazy, Maylin. You're, oh my God. This is why I call her Superwoman. She normally like this. I ask for something and she's got it 2 seconds later. It's insane. Oh, yay, a little calendar. Maybe I can actually be organized now, Maylin. Is that what you're trying to tell? Are you trying to tell me I need to be organized? I think that's what you're telling me. Uh-oh, I saw someone say, Zach. What did Zach say? Oh, you're just saying hi? I was like, oh, don't call me buddy. I have to go back and read comments in a little bit. Sorry, guys. Oh, my God. To go with my pen, lots and lots of notebooks. Yeah. I definitely need these. Oh, and a planner. Woohoo. It's funny that you did that because just the other day I thought, I can't find my fucking notebook. Where the hell did it go? Care for the good. Oh, yeah. All things are good, all good things are wild and free. That's a perfect one for me. I am Turtle Boy. Yay, I get to read it. I'm so excited. Ooh, a fidget pen. Look at that. It's good. I don't know how good this camera is and how well you can see everything I'm showing you. Hopefully you can see it, but I'm so excited to read this. Ooh, a holder for all my pens. Ooh, candy. Yummy. Oh, and of course, some sticky notes. Woohoo. So fun. Oh my God. Maylin, you are too sweet. Oh my God. I'm going to have so much fun with this stuff. It's going to force me to be organized and have things at the ready for a change. I can write down timestamps. That's the biggest thing I got to start doing. I'll watch something and forget to clip it, where it's like, okay, well, if I don't feel like clipping it, maybe I can at least, write down a timestamp, and then I forget to do that too. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Thank you. Maylin, thank you. And to everyone else who has graciously sent donations. I don't know. I hate wearing hats. I'm already hot. I did talk about that several times now. We've gotten into the menopause talk. I won't go into it deep, Zach. Sorry, this time I won't do it. But I'm always sweating, so I had to even turn my fan on. I have my air on and my fan on, and it's only 4 degrees out today. So if that tells you anything. I am very excited, though, to open this pen. I got to open it because it's too cool. It's a fidget pen. I got to see what it does. Whoop. Look at that. Oh, I'm going to have too much fun with it. You can make fun designs with it. Oh my God, I'm having so much fun. No blubbering today. If I did any crying, it would be happy tears because, you guys are amazing people. Truly amazing people. I wouldn't go on camera like this even for anyone else but you guys. Because it's not. It's only me. It just is what it is. What makes me feel uncomfortable is one thing hugely is my teeth. I can't wait until the bottoms are done, but that's another expense. If you've never had to have major dental work done, holy shit. These alone, $12,000, because when I had the teeth pulled, you have to get the screws put in, and they have to go in somewhere. And if you pull the teeth and you wait too long, you lose bone. Your sinuses spread open. So I ended up having to wait because I couldn't afford to do it all at once. And the dentist, or orthodontist or whatever, oral surgeon, all those people, they don't care if you end up having to pay more in the long run because you can't pay when they want it paid. So you have to pay. And if you can't pay, you have to wait till you can pay. So by the time I saved up enough money to get the screws and temporary tops put in, I didn't have enough bone. So I had to get bone grafting. Let me tell you how painful that shit is. Dental work alone is already painful. And holy fuck. I am one of those people, I don't know if it's the CRPS or genetics, because my mom was the same way, especially with dental work, where it takes a lot to numb me up. Like just to do drilling of any kind, I would have to get 4 shots of Novocaine or whatever's in the shots. So doing the bone grafting, even though for that you're put to sleep, you wake up and I had all 4 of my wisdom teeth pulled at the same time too when I was 16 years old. And they were surgically removed, so that too I was put to sleep for. But if you've had that done, you know what kind of pain I'm talking about. Your cheeks are swollen out to here. You look like a fucking chipmunk. Holy shit. Let's just say that. So anyway, let me see some comments. Holy shit. You're seeing everything good? Good. Aw, I'm a little fuzzy but cute as a button. Aw, yeah, this is, like I said, this camera is whatever my laptop camera is, because I have a what you call it, a mic on my Amazon wish list. But at this point, I think I'm gonna save up for a whole new computer system because it's so hard to work on this minuscule laptop. I have here. I can show you actually. This is my desktop. Way bigger. But it doesn't want to work with StreamYard and YouTube together. So it is what it is. That's why I'm constantly squinting like this, going, I can't read that tiny little print. No, like I said, it's probably not your eyes. It's probably the computer. It's probably the camera, but it is what it weighs. I can't believe that. It's so weird. That's why Malin hadn't been sending me clips for a little while, and I just figured she was busy because she's doing her own channel too and everything. And it's not a big deal. But she sent me a message and she's like, yeah, I can't clip anymore. I don't know why. So apparently YouTube took away your clipping tool. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with YouTube lately, but they need to fix their shit. If we talk menopause, maybe Zach will go away. We don't want Zach to go away. He's the friendly troll. Aw. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Malin, so much. Thank you. You guys are amazing. I truly, truly appreciate it. And it is. It's going to, all this stuff is going to truly help me get organized, which I really need to do. We all know that. Zach says, going through menopause right now, having a hot flash right now. You're welcome, Malin. I appreciate you. Thank you for sending it to me. And I mean, God, I can't thank you enough for doing that. It's awesome. So I see some of you can relate with the dental thing. I mean, the only reason I brought it up, obviously, and if someone asshole is going to want to be an ass and clip the bottom prop, that I got going on because I can't find, me and my stupid head can't find the bottom temporaries that I put on when I, go out in public. Go ahead. Be an asshole. It is what it is. Dental work is expensive. And with the CRPS and other things that I have, it's not even, I could brush my teeth 100 times a day and I still had major issues. My teeth always hurt. They were sensitive to everything, sweets, cold, hot. I got tired of it. And what choice did I have? Like yank them out and live with none at 40 some years old, or do like this? But I have to do it, it's going to take me a long time to get it completely done because it's expensive. It's ridiculously expensive. Wait, what? Zach bit a wire? Hold on. Now I got to go back. You cracked a tooth biting a wire in half? Had to go through all kinds of pain to get it replaced. Oh my God. How the fuck did you do that? Oh my God. Yes, I do. Maylin, have a good time, sweetie. I'll see you later. Thank you so much again. Love you. Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Why the hell did you bite a wire? Were you trying to rip it in half? I know that now. Oh, Moni G gave you a virtual noogie. Oh, Scott, I don't know if I said hi to you, but if I did, I'm sorry. Hi. Thank you for being here, sweetie. Another amazing mod. Aw. The reader, Zach says, I will love her or love you and miss her sorely. Now, I did see the mention about blocking. So if you did, you did. If you didn't, you didn't. Hey, but we all know. We all know Zach. His heart's in the right place. But if you need a break from him, it is what it is. It says, hate to break to, oh my God, I can't talk, block a mod, but I warned him twice already. Well, so with that said, I don't remember who asked about my tattoos, but this is one. This is my Pisces one that's on my rack too. This is my other one. It says, just breathe. Does it show up backwards? No, right? I don't know. And then I have one on my right shoulder. I think I've explained it, but I'm not going to show it because I'm obviously not going to take off my shirt for you. Sorry, this isn't a strip show. And then I have a rosary on my right ankle. I have been working on, for a couple of years now, actually, one to, for my mom. I think I've talked about it before that I've gotten all my tattoos at like not milestones, but at important points in my life. They all remind me of something that I felt I needed to remember in some sort of way. And there was a reason that I got each and every tattoo. When my mom passed away, I've been working on that one for quite a while. And of course, that's another expense that, I keep putting off because I have other things that are more important. But I'll get there. Dax says, I fully support anyone's right to block me. The Raider says, all my tattoos mean something. Yeah, I think they should. Because if you just randomly get tattoos, I mean, hey, it works. I'm no judgment. But my personal, for me, if I randomly got a tattoo, I feel like those are the ones that you end up regretting. I have not regretted any of my tattoos. I don't think I ever will. My very first one, I still don't regret. And I got it at 19. So it's almost 30 years old. Holy shit. My very first tattoo is almost 30 years old. Holy crap. I'm old. I didn't like tattoos until my kids told me their chemistry teacher has the periodic chart tattooed on her forearm. Oh my God. For a chemistry teacher, that's kind of cute, actually. Ooh, I didn't know that. Goofy from Disney. Learned that it has a very bad connotation in prison culture. What is it? I don't know that. I've never heard that. Oh, that's cute. Oh, not easy losing a pet, I know, but that's a cute idea. She has paw prints tattoos of paw prints, pets that she lost. That's amazing. In remembrance of being a mother. So you got chemistry with her too? Mm-hmm. My tramp stamp says Darth Vader. I'm sorry. That's funny. You're working on your sleeves? I've always liked, personally, I've always liked when you have like one sleeve. I don't know why that is. I thought about it, I'll be honest. But one, it costs a fortune. And two, I don't know if I can make enough like designs or whatever to not regret anything if I did the entire arm. But I love them. I love looking at them. I love tattoos. I would have more already if I had the money. Oh, little one wants to go at 4:30. Oh, you got a little more time then. Yay. Yes, that is classy and sexy, the tramp stamps. Mm-hmm. I didn't ever even thought of that. Tramp stamps, or oh my God, I said tramp stamps because I'm looking at his freaking comment. Sleeves are nice, but you can't go in the sun. They make you extra hot. I never thought about that. Cheryl, do sleeve tattoos really make you extra hot? Then I definitely couldn't have one. I'm already always hot. I can't do it. No, no, no. We had to have a few conferences. So it says my nephew has both arms and his torso done. He hasn't been able to go without a shirt since. Wow. Oh, your two oldest boys have sleeves? Yeah, find out. I'm just curious. Hey, we learn something new every day. I am gonna hold on. I'm gonna pull this down just because looking up. I don't think this is gonna be a good angle to look down at it. You don't want to look up my nose. But this is still too high. I wonder. Oh, I have an idea. Hold that thought. I get to see the back of my couch for a minute. We have this. That better? Now I don't have to do this. I'm gonna stay on camera for a few more minutes while we chat. I am gonna show you because it's time for my pump. This is my pump machine. So this is the controller. So you turn it on. The pump is implanted under the skin, right under my left butt cheek, right up above, under. I can't believe I said under, right above. I put my little controller in front of it. See? And then, see, when I need a bolus because of the pain, I just click it. And it delivers me my medicine. It's so easy. I love it. And because I can live again. Those of you who have heard me talk about the pain that I suffer from and the things that I've gone through, the years that I went through, horrible pain. I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't do things. This is an amazing invention for someone like me. Just when you're suffering and you can't, because of the pain, you can't function, you can't think straight, you can't stand, sit, lay, you can't sleep. And for so little of medication that you get in this makes the world of difference. This goes back to what I was saying, even about having the dental work done. That I don't know what it is. It's always been this way. I always need more medication, more Novocaine to numb me up than a normal person. I don't know if that's genetics. I don't know if that's the disease. I don't know if it's something else. I have no clue. But when I used to be on oral medication, as most of you probably know, especially when you take an opiate, your body gets used to it. And so it takes more to get the same, relief, pain relief. Same thing for people that use it to get high. The body just gets used to it, gets dependent on it. So your body just requires more to get the same effect. And the way that this delivers the medicine into your spinal fluid, it takes a fraction, very little. Compared to orally, it was like 60 milligrams a day. I would take 2 30-milligram extended relief morphines, one in the morning, one at night. And even though they're technically 12-hour pills, they don't last 12 hours. So the pain that you suffer is like this all day long. It's bad. I get in this full, including if I use every bolus that I'm allowed, 5 milligrams in 24 hours. Less than 5, actually. And I get probably 5 to 10 times more pain relief than one of those 30-milligram orally pills would ever give me. I get to, work again. I have a life again. It all goes back to meeting the right doctor who would listen to me and was able to diagnose me and see me as a person and not somebody who was coming in drug seeking. For years, I was called that. And I think it tells you a lot when you can give me this pump and it's way less medication. I never have to take anything orally besides Motrin when I need it, or a muscle relaxer, which normally I take at night because they make me sleepy. But I'm never in need for more and more and more. Once you got me to the point where I could function and get me out of enough pain. That's all I ever wanted. Not to mention to know what was wrong with me. Because too many people, too many doctors who supposedly care about you as a person, they go to help, they go into medicine to help people and then treat you like shit. And I know there has to be like a management thing. And I know that there are people out there that abuse it, and it has to be, monitored. I have no issue with that. It's when you automatically judge someone the minute they say they're in pain. And that's the problem. So anyway, I'll get off my soapbox. So with that being said, what are you guys up to today, by the way? What is everyone up to? I'm trying to see. Pump settings make you think of something completely different. Oh boy, oh boy. They were making fun of me because I said something. I don't remember whose chat I was in. I think it was Baker's. Like, oh, get your mind out of the gutter. I'm like, my mind's always in the gutter. I just don't always let you guys know that. Oh my God, 7? Sorry, this is my vape, everyone. If you ever hear me using it, that's my vape. See, the doctors that prescribe that much don't make sense to me because, number one, there are higher doses. You're only supposed to take those extended relief tablets every 8 to 12 hours. And I hate this angle. Like, all I can see is up my nose. Like, I know it's probably not as big deal to you guys, but hold on. I need something just to prop it up a tiny bit more where I'm not doing this. Hold on. I'm just trying to find something to put under here. I think I got it. There we go. I think that's better. There we go. A little better. Anyway, the point with that is they do have different higher doses. You can take one 60 milligram pill every 8 to 12 hours. Why they double up and triple up on something like that makes no sense to me. But at least your doctor was willing to work with you if you needed it. That's all I can say. Because that was the highest dose I was ever on. And obviously it didn't work. Even then, it didn't work the greatest. Because you're doing this with the pain. You get some relief and then it starts to hurt again. You get some more relief and then it starts to hurt again. And then the pill starts to wear off and then the pain goes way up here. And then you take another one and then you're doing this again until it wears off again. So the beauty of this pump is that your pain, it doesn't erase it. It's not gone. It's never going to be gone. I've come to terms with that. It's that your pain is like this. You'll get a bump like this, but that's what the boluses are for. And it's changed my life. Sorry, guys. I wish I would have found my glasses. Sorry about this squinting. I can't help it. So Maylin is getting ready for tech school with the little one and researching serial killers for her live tomorrow. Yeah, she's got a live. She's doing research on past serial killers. I'll be interested in watching that for sure, Maylin. What else is everyone up to? I don't see anyone. Yeah, I see. I get you. Darvader says, hate to say it, my experience and from what I've seen with my family, females are not treated well by male doctors, especially if they're in healthcare field. It's terrible. And Crispy Treat and I have had similar experiences with healthcare and some of the shittiness that you can deal with when you have a chronic disease, disorder, something. We have chronic pain, especially. The way you're treated, the way I was treated in particular for years, 6 years. I'm not going to deny that I had thoughts about not being here at the time. When you're in that much pain on a daily basis and no one will listen to you, you don't know why, and people are calling you things that you are not. It's worse than depressing. It's dehumanizing the way I was treated. And when I tell people that my current doctor, well, the doctor that put the pump in, he left the practice at the end of last year. Unfortunately, he had to go back home. He's from Europe to take care of a family member. But if it wasn't, I mean, I tell people he saved my life. He did. And I'm not kidding. He saved it in more ways than one. He gave me my life back. Like I said, I can work again. I feel like a functioning human being again. And when you go through the kind of shit I went through, treated the way I was treated for so many years, and when you finally get that one doctor who just, it wasn't even all the shit he did after. Of course, it's all that, but it was the moment I realized he was looking at me like a human being and taking in what I was saying. Like, it was just a completely different feeling. Like, I'm like, oh my God, he's listening to me. He's engaged with me. He wasn't in front of his computer, not looking at me. He did not have his computer. He sent the tech in with the computer, took my history, and then I waited, he came in the office or in the room, whatever, and just sat there looking at me, having a conversation with me. And doctors don't do that anymore. They sit in front of their little laptops and they type away while you're talking. And that's it. And then they spew some shit for about 5 minutes and then say, see you next time. I saw lots of doctors like that. So the minute you get one that just will sit and have a conversation with you, treat you like a human being, look at you while they're talking to you, it's a totally different feeling. Oh, I saw your joke, Moni G. I don't want YouTube to take my video down. Oh my God. Oh, if you guys were not here last night with me for Psych Night last night, I started it by going off on some idiot I saw snort Adderall on Jess's live. Nothing, this is no shade against Jess. She didn't know it was going to happen. He just did it. I'm like, what is this idiot doing? That's the kind of thing that hurts people who need Adderall. When you go and admit that you use it recreationally, not to mention you take it by snorting it, which is bad. Medically speaking, it's bad. There are lots of things that can happen when you snort things that shouldn't be going up your nose. Your blood-brain barrier, look it up. It's dangerous to mess with that shit. Very. Bye, Maylin. Thank you again, sweetie. Have fun with the little one. The radar says, my mother was an RN and our family doctor was horrible to her. And then to me after I had my son. See, I don't know what it is with doctors anymore. They just don't seem to care. My pediatrician, family doctor really growing up, he saw my mom, my grandma, me, my brother, all my cousins, my aunts and uncles. He saw all of us, whether kids, adults, whatever. He was amazing. So when you grow up knowing doctors like that who treat your whole family, always treated you with dignity and respect and it's you when you start to navigate other areas or specialties and have to see specialists, and nowadays they're just, like I said, always in front of their fucking laptop. They don't even want to look at you. It's just ruining it. Yeah, but why are those doctors who actually listen and treat your issues are just a blip in time? Yeah. I don't know. I wish to God that more doctors like him get out there somehow, some way. And these assholes who think it's okay to judge you, leave the practice. Go do something else. Go be a doctor somewhere or do something with your medical degree that doesn't require you to see patients in the office. Just my opinion. Oh, you were there, Darth Vader, but you said you couldn't really chat because you were medicated and tired. So you didn't, don't worry, you didn't say anything and it's okay. You think the ladies just went shopping up at the Birch Run? I didn't have the money, so I didn't go. And they didn't like my poor taste and bad joke. Well, they obviously didn't get your humor. Yeah, I know that's why they snort it. The problem is that not only are you going to get a faster and bigger reaction from it, you have an hugely increased chance of breaking that barrier and hemorrhaging. And the minute that happens, you're done for. Is it worth it? To me, it wouldn't be. Yep, you were cool, Darth Vader. Moni G agrees. Four of your nieces and nephews are now doctors. They all promise to be better after dealing with the sicknesses and deaths in our family. Oh, that's amazing. Congrats to them. I hope they truly do what they say they're going to do. And I'm sure they will. I know you get it. I just don't, to me, it's not worth the risk. I don't see what, that's it. One time, that's all it takes. So is one high worth the risk of never functioning again? Or not being alive tomorrow? But I get it. I've worked with addicts before. You guys know that. I get that they don't think about things like that. It's the addict's brain. It kicked you out. What, YouTube? Go figure. YouTube, I'm telling you, YouTube is doing something really weird lately. I don't know what it is, but it started a couple weeks after I started streaming, where my comments were coming in all in a foreign language. That's the first thing that ever happened to me anyways. And I'm like, what the fuck? Am I having a stroke? And then people started getting blocked left and right, and no notifications. Then you're getting kicked out, or your subs are you're being unsubscribed from people you didn't unsubscribe to. I don't, if anyone really knows what's going on with YouTube, I'd love to know. Seriously. Like, I know that we joke, especially Moni D and I joke that they're putting more spyware to spy on us all using YouTube. But all the AI shit that they use to monitor the chats and go through all of your videos to make sure it's not copyright, you didn't violate copyright laws. I don't know what they're doing, but it's really getting beyond annoying, especially considering how much YouTube makes. Think of all the people that not only pay premium to avoid having all the ridiculous commercials, but then you have every 30%. If you don't know, when you send a super chat, YouTube takes 30%. So all those $499 super chats that Octonan sends, think about it. What's 30% of 500? 10% is $50. So 30% is 150. $150 out of that $500 goes to YouTube. So think about that when you think, oh, Nan's so supportive. She sends $500. No, she doesn't. She sends $500 to get attention because 150 of that goes to YouTube. If you wanted to send $500 to someone to support them, that's why everyone has added PayPal and Cash App. But yet, streamers understand that people send super chats to get, not only get a little bit of recognition, but to get their statement or their question or statement seen by their streamer. Especially, the bigger ones, sometimes they don't see your chat unless you send it to them. So I get that. But when you send super chats to supposedly say, I'm supporting you, no, that's not why you're doing it. You're doing it to get the attention. Just saying. That being said, I am going to show you guys something. I did, in case you didn't see my shorts I made last night, I caught this. Something from James Jackson's page showed up on my YouTube algorithm, which I thought was funny because I've only been to his page once and got booted. Hold on.
Look what happened. She turned on TV and he did all that for nothing. I wonder how he feels about her guilt that they're going to try to change the narrative. And that's what usually happens in when things go to shit. People change the narrative of what really happened.
TB talked to Karen before the verdict, and she said she would give TB the first interview, and then she changed her mind. TB has every right to feel how he does. Sad how this all ends up.
Look what happened. She turned on TB.
And then this one.
The same people that are there for TB are the same people that would be there for her.
Right.
So by not going out to even take the temperature of the room to see what it's like, to get a feel of it, that right there, honestly, on a business level, Karen, you're fucking up. You should go out there and check the temperature and see what it's like. See if you like it. And then you can figure out if you want to do one yourself. But if you don't show up, hey, don't show up. Don't worry about it. JFK will have a show the next day talking about it.
So he just admits, JFK, this is a show from before the Wilbur last year, 8-inch show at the Wilbur. This is when JFK and James Jackson supported TB. Okay? So they just predicted their own behavior. And JFK talked shit about Karen. Okay? You heard it. JFK talked shit about Karen. And yet they still talk to this day about Aiden calling her a cunt. And then James Jackson again says this. Listen to what he says.
Look what happened. She turned on TB and he did all that for nothing. I wonder how he feels about her guilt that they're going to try to change the narrative. And that's what usually happens.
They're going to try to change the narrative. They're talking about the haters of Aiden and how the haters of Turtle Boy are going to change the narrative that Karen hates Turtle Boy. And yet, who's the ones doing that? These two. They predicted their own behavior a year ago, less than a year ago. And I thought, how ironic that that shows up in my algorithm. I don't blame you, Dar. Oh, that's right. I forgot you were a mod for them. Like I said, I never watched them when they were a fan of Aiden or after. Never did. I've only seen what other people show and go over. And this shit, they should go back and listen to their own words before they spew the bullshit that they spew now. Just saying. So I truly felt like I had to point it out. Kazi went to the Cape, the beach. I missed it. Oh, what's this? Oh, shit. I lost it. Oh, well. All right. Hold on. Shout out to the Trial Channel. As always, they make it so easy to watch trials of the past by taking out all the bullshit. As we get into Shanon Burgess.
So it's now time for the opening statement.
His testimony is the second longest compared to, or second longest to Bukkake, who was just over 12 hours. And then we have Shanon Burgess's, which his cross-examination is just amazing, by Alessi. So we're getting into that today. Just gotta find it.
All right, Mr. Brennan, whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, sir.
Okay.
Good morning.
Now with
Could you
that,
please introduce yourself?
pause. Thank you. Okay. So with that, I am going to go off camera only because I got behind. I want to have some, I'm going to make some lunch. I do not.
To the jurors,
I'm
spell your
gonna
last
talk.
name.
I do not like eating on camera or people watching me eat. Not to mention, I don't like watching other people eat. So I'm going to go off camera while I, get some lunch and have some food. So it was great. Hopefully you guys had a great chat with me. I had a wonderful chat with you guys, and I'm going to have fun today getting all my shit prepared. And also, tomorrow night, Joy, the oh so wonderful and sweet Joy, and I are going to be hosting a woman's fun putty stream. Have no idea what we're going to talk about, but we're just going to have some fun. So that is going to be tomorrow night, probably around 10 o'clock. But so stay tuned. I'm working on a thumbnail. I'm waiting to hear back from Joy about that. Hippie Chick will hopefully be able to join us. And I believe Joy had one more person, and I can't remember. And I think Maylin will be joining us as well. But I still have to get it organized and the thumbnail going. But we should have some fun. Now, the problem is, as I've mentioned before, I am not one for doing a bunch of people on stream because I'm a talker. Unfortunately, like Karen or Carrie Roberts, I am a talker. And I have to catch myself from talking over people because it's not because I want to talk over them. But I feel like if I don't hurry up and say it, I'm going to forget it. However, this lovely new pen and wonderful pads of paper from Maylin are going to help me in doing that. I'm going to start writing down everything I want to say so I can not do that so much. So tomorrow will be a good test for me. Anyway, with that being said, let's get into Shanon Burgess' testimony. And yeah, she's that exactly. I'm a talker. She's a talker. All right. So I'll be here. I'm just going off camera, everyone. And then be yourself. We like you how you are. Thank you, Zach. You don't know what kind of you don't know what those comments truly mean to me. I appreciate them very, very much because I always feel bad. Like Chris, I said this last night, is that Crispy Treat and I, we you should hear us on the phone. We talk over each other like two old women that don't have their hearing aids in. It's hysterical. So when we talk about going live together, we're always like, we're both going to make sure we try to not do that. And then we end up doing it anyway. but we do it for the same reasons. We're not trying to like be rude or interrupt the other person. We just both like have things that pop in our mind so fast and we don't want to lose the thought. So it's kind of funny. But I am going to take advantage of these wonderful gifts that Maylin sent to me and start taking notes. I'm so excited. You have no idea how excited I am from this stuff. Not to mention to get started on reading. I am my book. I Am Turtle Boy. I am so excited for that. So with that being said, I am going to start this ridiculous testimony, but I am going to skip the whole CV shit that we know he lies about anyways. So we can avoid listening to too much of Spanky today. I can only take so much, as I'm sure you guys feel the same way. So bear with me a second while I figure out where's a good place to start.
So-called black box in the Lexus vehicle.
Yes. So they're
Okay, that's too far.
moving those hard drives to another module was accepted.
Could you tell us briefly what peer-reviewed means?
Sure. So peer review is a process of your peers or colleagues reviewing your work and determining that it's valid.
Is peer-reviewed articles often relied upon by other experts in the field?
Yes, they are.
You said that the first article you mentioned had to do with damaged modules. Is that one of the areas specifically that you're going to talk to us about in this case?
Sure. So it is specifically one of the areas I'm going to talk about in this case. And to kind of go back a little bit, the idea of proof of concept applies not only to damaged modules.
Wait, Scott, oh my God, I said Scott. Zach, who are you telling to shut up? Me? What did I say? I'm not blubbering. I'm not. I haven't cried. Not today. Not today, Satan.
Also, other vehicle modules such as infotainment and telematics modules.
I don't think we're at infotainment and telematics yet, so if we can just understand a little better, very basically, what is proof of concept in action? What does that mean?
Sure. So proof of concept is taking a vehicle module, for example. This is typically an unidentified vehicle module that other individuals have not looked at or verified what is recorded and where it is stored. So a proof of concept is taking exemplar modules and doing tests on those modules. So creating events that are recorded within the modules. A lot of times when those modules are damaged and vehicle crashes or if they're just unsupported by your forensic tools, you will have to go to what's called chip off or chip swap forensics. That is specifically taking the chips off of the circuit board. So think of the hard drives from your computer, moving those hard drives to another module, a working module, to recover the data and validating that you've recovered all the data that you would expect to see.
Are there times and cases or studies where you need to recover data because it's not available to you through the traditional methods?
Yes, many times.
Let me ask you, you said there was a second article. What was that second peer review article about?
Sure. So that second peer-reviewed article was specifically related to mobile forensics, specifically iPhones, and how they track your device interactions, as well as speed and location data, and validating how accurate that data was.
Fun opening
In addition to
my
talking
gifts,
to us
by the
about
way.
damaged modules,
Sorry
as you're
about
going
all
to
the packaging
do in this case, are you also going to talk to us about the timing information from mobile phones?
Yes, I am.
When did you first become involved in the study of this case?
So I first became involved in this case around October of 2024.
When you became involved in October of 2024, were you in receipt of any information or reports or documents to look at?
Yes. So I did receive some raw data as well as some photographs from the vehicle in this case.
When you say raw data from the vehicle, what does that mean specifically?
Sure. So again, when you take these chips or hard drives off of these modules, you can read those chips individually and recover any type of data that is recorded on those chips. So when I reference raw data, that is looking at that data in hexadecimal format, which is as close to binary data, which is what computers use to store data in, as you would want to get when reviewing this type of data.
When you receive data, does that presume it's already been downloaded by somebody?
Yes, that is correct.
In addition to looking at the data, you receive photographs. Do you know where those photographs came from?
I do not know specifically who those photographs came from, but I do know those photographs came from an initial download attempt on those modules.
You said there was an initial download attempt. So when you looked at the information you received, did you learn whether or not there was an attempt prior to your involvement in October 2024 to obtain data from the modules or the so-called black box in the Lexus vehicle?
Yes. So there was an attempt to download data from the modules in the vehicle.
Did you understand whether or not there was a chip-off process, whether anybody attempted to take the computer chips off the computer boards and learn or download the data?
Yes, there was an attempt to remove various chips off of the boards and read those chips individually.
Did you have an opportunity to read any reports submitted regarding that earlier process that occurred before you even got involved?
Not before I got involved. Well, sorry. Yes, I was able to read a report from an individual known as AG Speak about that process that initial process.
Did you learn who conducted, the name of the person that actually conducted the original process before you were involved in this case?
Yes, I understand that person to be Miss Maggie Gaffney.
Do you know generally when Miss Gaffney engaged in trying to download information from the computer boards of the defendant's car?
Yeah, if I can recall correctly, that was around December of 2023.
And in your review of materials and study materials, did you receive additional materials?
Yes, I did receive additional crash reports, just detailing the events of the night.
When you say crash reports, what does that mean?
So that's going to be crash reports from the Massachusetts State Police.
Is a crash report just a written report, or is it data?
No, it's just a report, no data.
Did you receive any other reports from any other individuals or experts?
No, not at that time.
Did you later, over time, receive any more additional information during your studies?
Yes, I believe so. And let me reference my report just so I don't misspeak.
Let me ask for the court's permission before you do that.
Sure, sorry. So I did, again, I reviewed a vehicle forensics report by AG Speak. I reviewed documentation that was identified to me as evidence review, a prior testimony of Trooper Garino, and I reviewed some surveillance videos as well as a report by Mr. Whiffen.
When did you receive any study or reports from Mr. Garino? Do you remember?
I do not remember exactly.
Okay. Was it recently, some time ago?
It would have been some time ago, probably late 2024 after we got involved.
Last year?
Yes.
And how about Mr. Whiffen's reports?
Mr. Whiffen's report, I believe I received in January of this year.
And the video, do you know when you received any video?
It would have been this year. I don't remember the exact dates.
Was it last month, months ago?
No, probably around January or February as well. Well, I take that back. It would have been early January, maybe late December.
I want to ask you just generally so we have a general perspective on this. When you began your study, was there something specifically that you were looking for?
There was. So specifically what we're looking for when we do a chip off on these vehicle modules, we're expecting to see one of two things: user data in a raw hexadecimal format, or a file system where user data is stored.
Hold on. Does anyone know if he still works for Aperture or not? I know that they took his CV down and he deleted his LinkedIn account. Instead of just taking, the false information down, he literally just deleted his entire LinkedIn account. Now, as far as Aperture goes, I know that Aperture, right after his testimony, his CV and that was all deleted off of Aperture's website. Now, as far as where he is nowadays, I have no idea. If anyone does know, please let us know.
Were there certain events that you were focused on relative to the data in the defendant's Lexus?
Sure. So there were specific events that we were looking for specifically. That would be including time-stamped ignition on events or power on events, as well as other data.
Did you have any information or understanding that there were text stream events that you would have focused on?
Yes, I did have an understanding that there were text stream events located in a airbag control module.
How many text stream events were you focused on?
2 text stream events.
Could you just generally characterize those 2 events?
Sure. So one event has been identified as a 3-point turn maneuver, and the other has been identified as a backing maneuver.
Now, the studies of those events, is that the role of the accident reconstructionist?
Yes, it is.
So then what was your role related to, your specific role related to those 2 characterized events, the 3-point turn event and the backing maneuver event?
Sure. So within that text stream data, those events are documented with what's called a time count. So that's going to be a running timer from the time the vehicle powers on or the ignition comes on. So that counter will count seconds incrementally. And specifically, the focus was looking for any timestamped data that would offer when that power on event occurred.
Did you put together a PowerPoint presentation regarding your assessment of some of this case?
Yes, I did.
Can I approach?
Yes.
Can you package? You recognize that?
Yes, I do.
And what is that?
That is my PowerPoint presentation that I prepared.
Just turn to pages so you can look and see if it accurately reflects the presentation you put together.
Yes, it appears so.
And does this reflect some of your study of this case?
It does reflect some of the study in this case.
Is it an entire comprehensive study of everything that you learned, or is it an overview?
No, it is an overview.
For course permission, I would mark this for identification. I intend to use this for course permission as a chalk.
Okay, so we'll mark it for identification.
Ask for identification.
May I proceed, Your Honor?
Yes.
So I want you to teach us a little bit about the computers in a motor vehicle. Is there one computer, like a black box in an airplane?
No, so there's actually many. Depending on the vehicle, there could be hundreds with very specific functions to what they're meant to do.
Tell us a little bit about why there's a need or why many computers are used in a single vehicle.
Sure. So there's so many functions within your modern vehicle nowadays. So for instance, your infotainment module, that is a computer that operates your radio, your head unit. So that's going to be your obviously your radio, any type of built-in navigations, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. There's what's called a telematics module. That's going to be what actually allows the vehicle to communicate with the internet services. So when you look at, if you've got an app that can track your vehicle or unlock your doors, that's being allowed through that telematics module.
With the court's permission, I'd like to have Ms. Gilman show page 3 of the PowerPoint.
Okay.
Sir, on your PowerPoint page 3, you have a chart or diagram of a car. You may have a pointer in front of you if it helps. Sure. You can direct your attention to the TV to your right. Could you explain to us what this diagram shows us?
Sure. So this is a diagram that just shows, a small number of modules that you can find in specifically the Lexus in this case. Again, what we're focused on and looking at is the infotainment module and the telematics module in orange. For example, there are other modules known as the body control module and the airbag control module, the engine control module, which runs your vehicle. In addition to that, there are other modules that operate your door locks and unlocks, your windows, and various other functions.
When you use the word module, is that the same thing as a separate computer or is it different somehow?
Yeah, so that using parlance, module would be referring to a separate computer within the vehicle.
Do all of these separate computers in the vehicle connect with each other?
They do. So all of these modules are connected to one another and they do communicate with each other.
The information that would be commonly referred to as black box or information that captures some of an event, where would that be in this diagram?
Sure. So the black box would be in the airbag control module.
And then as far as the radio system, you shared with us that's the infotainment module?
Yes. So the radio system is going to be, that data is going to be stored within the infotainment module.
In the telematics module, specifically, what are we looking for there?
Sure. So the telematics module, again, is a module that allows communication with internet services. So if you've got an app on your phone that you can unlock or lock your doors, that's the telematics module is allowing that function to occur.
Do all make and model cars have the same setup as this diagram?
No, they do not. It will vary.
Does it vary from car maker to car maker?
It does. It varies from car maker to car maker. It varies from trim level as well.
Could two different cars from the same manufacturer or same style, could they have different components in those cars?
They could, yes.
Why is that?
Sure. So during the manufacturing phase, depending on cost and other things, manufacturers will source these modules from different third-party manufacturers. So one vehicle may have a module from, for instance, LG Electronics. One may have a module from Denso. And depending on how those individual manufacturers implement that software and hardware, they may record and store different types of data.
So from your experience, you've reviewed or you studied a 2022 Lexus, and then you see another Lexus, whether it's 2022, 2023. Would you be able to say you've seen it, you've already done it, or do you have to individually look at each car?
Sure. So you would typically look at, and to correct, it's a 2021 Lexus. But if you want to understand what may be stored in a subject module, you would look at, take an exemplar vehicle and conduct some testing to determine what is being recorded and how that data is being recorded.
You mentioned that you were looking for time information, or power on information regarding two events.
Correct.
Can we characterize those events as text stream events?
Yes, we can.
Do people sometimes refer to them as triggering events? Are they often or sometimes referred to as something else other than a text stream event?
They can be referred to as other things besides text stream events.
Can you give us an example of what else they may be referred to as?
Sure. So that would be triggering events.
Why is it called a triggering event?
Sure. So the event is actually created when there's a trigger, and those trigger thresholds will vary and could be for a number of different reasons.
You. My mom always wanted to go to me.
Or so-called triggering event. What happens in the data?
Sure. So when a text stream event happens, when that trigger is met, there's certain data parameters or data types that are recorded for a specific time frame.
In this case, how many of those events were you looking at?
Just one.
When you mentioned time, I want to have you explain to us a little bit about time. You said there's a running clock. Can you explain that in a little more detail and simply what that means?
Sure. So in what's recorded within the text stream events, I'll refer to as a running clock. Essentially what it is when the vehicle's powered on, this clock starts to run and it counts seconds from power on. So when you press the ignition on, this clock starts. And when there is a text stream event that occurs within that cycle or within that ignition on, that is recorded as the time that trigger occurred.
Does that give an actual time, like when you look at your watch or you look at your cell phone?
It does not give an actual time, yeah.
Okay, are you still reviewing the talk?
We can take it down if it pleases Attorney Alessi.
Thank you.
So you were getting back to the clock. You said it's like a running clock. Is that like a stopwatch?
Yeah, that could be referred to as a stopwatch.
Where is that running clock kept in the data?
Sure. So that running clock is kept within the airbag control module.
Is that the so-called black box part of the data?
That is correct.
With the running clock, how do you determine the actual time as it relates to, say, for example, your digital watch or your iPhone or another clock?
Sure. So in that instance, you would need to have an event that occurs, such as a power on event, with a timestamp to reference back that running clock.
When you got involved in this case and you looked at the information that was previously downloaded by Ms. Gaffney, was there any data regarding power on, power off to mark that time?
From the initial download, there was not.
When you involved yourself in your study, what was your primary focus as far as information you wanted to get and why?
Sure. So primary focus when I initially got brought on was to look at the modules and see if there was any data that was not recovered. And then specifically, again, looking at any timestamped data that may have been recorded within the modules.
You talked about the differences in modules. In your PowerPoint, did you provide a couple of photographs of the modules so we can see what you're talking about?
Yes, I did.
With the court's permission, I'd like to put on page 4 of the PowerPoint.
Okay.
Could you explain to us the photograph on the left and then the photograph on the right?
Sure. So the photograph on the left is kind of a top-down view of the infotainment module from the Lexus. Photograph on the right is a top-down view of the telematics module from the Lexus.
Are these modules from this specific car, or is this a general photograph of the car and how it works?
These modules are from this specific vehicle.
From the car you studied?
Correct.
On the left infotainment module, you have different manufacturers. Why is that?
Sure. So again, these modules are not manufactured by Lexus or Toyota themselves. They are manufactured by third parties that are providing these modules to the car manufacturer. And these are just some examples of what we have seen within these specific vehicles and what type of manufacturers provide modules for these vehicles.
If we could turn to page 5, please. When you looked at the data that was provided in this case, did you draft a report?
Yes, I did.
Your initial impressions, can you share with us what your initial impressions were?
Sure. So initial impressions were that data was missed from the initial download.
What type of data do you think was missed, or did you conclude was missed from the initial download?
Sure. So that would be, essentially all of the user data was missed during that initial download.
How did you conclude or come to the opinion that data was missed on the initial download?
Sure. So reviewing the raw data, you can see that what we would expect to find, which would be things like contacts or from devices or device connections or timestamped data, was not there in those initial downloads.
When you first looked at the data and you came to the conclusion that there was missing data, did you have a working theory on what you thought or how you thought the information was missing?
Sure. So I did have a working theory initially of why the data was missing.
And what was your initial theory?
Sure. So if I'll reference kind of to the slide a little bit.
You can take that down if you'd like.
Sure. So, sorry, can you repeat the question?
When you had your initial theory of data missing, what was it based on?
Sure. So the initial theory was based on two things. Either one of two things initially I thought could have happened, and that was a bad or partial read of the chips, or it could be that the data-bearing chip that we are looking for was overlooked and not downloaded.
When your first thoughts were that this was a partial read of chips, was there anything about the chips when you looked at them that you concluded or came to an opinion on?
Sure. So initially, when I was reviewing the data and reviewing the part numbers on the chips, we can see what how much storage is on each chip. And that can kind of get complicated, but essentially what we're looking at is we're looking at data stored as either bits or bytes. That is represented as a capital B or a small lowercase b. So initially, upon reviewing the data and with the assumption that a competent examiner would not miss a chip or a device or data-bearing chip on the board, I misinterpreted and wrote a lowercase or a capital B when I should have wrote a lowercase b in my notes, which led me to believe that there was a partial download of those initial chips.
Now, as a forensic analyst, do you rest on your initial impressions or do you go through a continued process?
No, so I do not. So just like the scientific method, if you have a working theory, you then review and research to either prove or disprove that theory.
And did you engage in that scientific process and working theory?
I did.
And how soon after you wrote the report did you realize there may be another source of the material?
Sure. So, I will clarify a little bit that initial was not a report; it was just a protocol that was proposed. But I believe that there was a supplemental protocol written within a week or two of the initial protocol.
And when you used the scientific method and studied the theory that you had, what did you decide or what did you learn?
Sure. So upon further review and research, I discovered that there was a SD card or a micro SD card that was on the circuit boards of one of the modules that was never looked at.
Now, you weren't present at the original process?
That is correct.
When you looked at the modules, those computer boards, did you notice anything about them that happened during the original process?
Sure. So I did notice during the chip off process, what you do to take these chips off is you apply heat to them. So that essentially liquefies the solder, which is a low temperature metal that connects the chips to the board and makes those connections so the board can communicate. And there was some damage caused from that initial chip off.
And again, why would you take the chips off a board if they're already attached? Why would you need to do that?
Sure. So when you don't have, typically if you think about downloading data from your cell phone, you have a USB port on your cell phone that you can easily plug that into a computer. That's not the case with vehicle modules. So you have to remove these chips from the board, and then you've got programmers or readers that will read the data from these chips.
Did you have a chance to study the boards that were already accessed during an earlier chip-off process before you got involved?
Yes, I did have an opportunity to study some photographs of the boards.
Could we have page 14, please, Ms. Gilman? And if we could turn to page 15. Tell us what this is, please.
Sure. So this is the infotainment module that you saw earlier. This is just two photographs during the disassembly process of taking that module apart.
Could you zoom in on the right photograph, Ms. Gilman? Okay, if that's the best we can do, that's fine right there. Could you share with us a little bit about what this is?
Sure. So this is how I received the modules when we took a secondary look at them. Essentially, this is if you see from the right photograph, there's many boards that are contained within this infotainment module. This specific board that we're looking at here on the right is the board where they removed chips from. What we're looking at is the circuit board itself, as well as two components that were previously removed during that initial download attempt.
So if you can't read the chips on the board, if you remove them, is there a tool that you can use to actually read the individual chips in isolation?
Yes, so there is tools, various tools that you can use to read those chips and read the data from those chips.
If we can have 16, please. Can you tell us what you see here?
Sure. So what you see here is two of the components that were initially removed from the board during that first download attempt. I've documented an additional chip that was still on the board that was not identified during that initial download on this side of the circuit board. And then I've got photographs matching the chip and where its placement was initially on the circuit board.
Can we have page 17, please? And what do we see there?
Sure. So this is some of the damage that occurred to the circuit board itself during the initial chip off at the download attempt.
Do you have a pointer on the stand?
I do, yes.
Could you show us what the left photograph points out what you mean by damage?
Sure. So right here on the left part, you've got these two highlighted blocks. So what this is if you remember back to the last slide, the larger chip that we were looking at, this is directly underneath that. So when you're removing that larger chip, what you're doing is you're applying heat to it. If you apply too much heat during that chip off process, the underside of the board will actually heat up and you'll have chips fall off of the underside of the board. So that's what's occurred here on the left side. On the right side, and again, as you heat up these chips, if you're not careful as you pick them up off the board, you can displace other components. And that is what you see right here in this highlighted box here is a small passive component that has been displaced where it should be parallel.
What is the risk of damaging components when they're taking off the board during a chip off?
Sure. So the risk of that is causing damage that could be internally that we can't see. And if you want to put the chips back on the board and assemble everything back together, it may not work appropriately.
In addition to seeing the damage with your eyes on these photographs, do you look at data when you engage in the analysis, whether or not you think data is missing?
Yes, I do.
Could we have page 6, please? Could you tell us what this is?
Sure. So this is just some examples of what user data would look like and what we're expecting to see when we look at the raw data from the chips that are removed from the board. So there's two ways to look at data, and one way is of looking at the file system, similar to the file system you would see on your computer when you store documents. Same thing exists in vehicle modules. There are instances though where you cannot rebuild the complete file system, and you've got to actually look at the raw data in hexadecimal format. So that hex data, the bottom photograph or screenshot, is what that would look like in hexadecimal format.
When you look at the data that was provided during the original chip off process and was produced by Mr. Gaffney, were you able to, at this point, identify any date and time or power on or off information that you were looking for?
No, I was not.
You mentioned that you went beyond the original data from the testing and you discovered something on the board?
Yes, that's correct.
Could we have page 18, please? Tell us what you found.
Sure. So this is a micro SD card that I identified on the subject vehicle and later validated that existed on an exemplar vehicle as well.
Could use the pointer. Sure. I know there's a red square, but I want you to describe for us what you saw and what that meant to you.
Sure. So if you look at this side of the circuit board, obviously this is a zoomed in view, but what you see is this kind of underneath the SD card is a silver casing. That is the slot that the SD card would go into, similar to the slot you would have on your computer. And again, what we're looking at is the SD card, just both sides, top and bottom.
You had mentioned earlier that when you looked at the data, you believe that there was data missing. When you found this SD card and discovered this, what did you conclude?
Sure. So at that point, I concluded that the data that we were missing,
but his is driving me nuts for some reason,
was most likely stored on this SD card.
Did it appear whether or not this SD card had ever been removed from the board?
No, it did not.
Did you receive any information that this SD card was ever studied or downloaded?
No, I did not.
Could you just take this board and put it back in the car and use software to read it?
There are instances where you can do that. For this vehicle, though, we could not.
Why couldn't you?
Sure. So there are commercial forensic tools that are available for vehicle systems. One of those tools is is called Burla. Burla is a company that writes hardware and software or develops hardware and software that pulls data from vehicles in a user-friendly way so that non-technical people can gain access to this data without having to go through the steps that we did in this case.
When you discovered this SD card and had your hypothesis that there may be data on it, did you have concerns about simply removing the SD card and trying to read it?
Yeah, so anytime you see an SD card on a vehicle module, in the past there's research and there's documentation of finding these SD cards. Most of the time they are what's called command 42 locked. So what that means is there's a lock put in place. So if you take this SD card out, plug it into your computer is not going to recognize it. So the SD card is actually looking for a passcode from the vehicle itself to unlock it and allow access to the data.
What if you don't have that passcode?
Sure. So when you don't have that passcode, there are ways around that lock. Specifically, if we look at the left photo, you can see there's a lighter shaded black area on the SD card. What that is it's a protective covering that is covering some what's called known as technological pads. And those pads allow access to reading the data and bypassing that lock.
Is gaining access to an SD card on a board like this a simple process?
It is not a simple process.
Are there a lot of advanced studies on it?
There are advanced studies on it, and it is a in-depth process to recover this data and interpret it.
Are there any concerns that you had about spoiling or destroying the data if you tried to access the SD card without a passcode?
No, not that I'm aware of. There's no documentation or research that suggests you would spoliate or lose data by bypassing that lock.
Were you concerned at all in trying to get the information from the SD card about the process of it?
Yes, I was.
Why?
To get data from this SD card, we suspected that the user data that we were expecting was on this card. So in order to validate that user data existed on this card, we processed and went through a set of testing and validation on an exemplar vehicle.
What's an exemplar vehicle mean?
Sure. So an exemplar vehicle is a 2021 Lexus LX570 that is as close to the same trim and features that the subject vehicle was.
We can take that down, Ms. Gilman. Why did you want a similar but very separate vehicle to do testing before you tried to crack into the SD card?
Sure. So, it's kind of multiple reasons. First, to validate that the process that we're theorizing to recover data is viable. But also, this is a vehicle that there's no documentation on as far as the data that is stored and the data, how it's recorded and what it means. So as well as being able to validate that process, we also wanted to do testing and create some of our own data and known data sets on a vehicle, so that when we got the data, we were able to look at it and compare it to our known data sets, and we were able to validate and correctly interpret what that data means.
Mr. Brennan, why don't we take our break right now?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, folks, we'll take our 15, 20-minute break.
Auntie Bob needs a White Claw.
Mr. Burgess, when we left off, we were talking about an exemplar vehicle that you were using to test and studies. If we could put up page 9, please, Ms. Gilman. Could you tell us what this is, Mr. Burgess?
Yes. So this is the photograph of the exemplar vehicle that we conducted testing on. So again, it's a 2021 Lexus LX570. And the reasoning that we did this testing was, again, to validate that the user data that we were expecting to see was stored on that SD card. Additionally, in addition to that, we were also looking to create a exemplar data set, so a known data set, and we did that by connecting these cameras here. There's a camera here looking straight out. There's a camera here looking at the infotainment screen. What those cameras are doing is they're synced together, and they're recording timestamps as well as they're recording any interactions that we have with the vehicle. So that's opening the doors, turning on the vehicle, turning off the vehicle, driving the vehicle, interacting with the infotainment system is all being documented. And then that way we can go back when we get the data off of the SD card and we can compare it to that documentation.
How closely were you trying to match the exemplar vehicle to the defendant's vehicle?
Obviously, as closely as we could get. If I recall correctly, this is almost a perfect match to the subject vehicle.
If we could turn to page 20, please. Could you share with us what this slide represents?
Sure. So this slide represents a comparison between the exemplar data and the data from the subject Lexus. In this comparison, we're looking at navigation system software. So that's going to be the infotainment system software. There's a number of different.
Joy, I was just talking about you earlier. What's up, sweetie? Just wanted to pop in and say hi. See you later this evening. Yeah, I'll be there watching Baker and Justice Served. What 6 o'clock, right? So I make sure that I end the stream in time to go watch Baker. With that being said, Joy, before you run real quick, about tomorrow, did you get my message about me working on a thumbnail? I need to know who's joining us. Hippie Chick, me, you, Maylin, I think, and wasn't there one more person? I can't remember who it was. If you're already gone, I understand. But if you're not gone, Dart, I didn't know you go live or go on. Hey, we'll talk, Dart. Anyone, whoever wants to come on with me is more than welcome. It's just, it has to be planned in advance most of the time because of my schedule. And to make sure I don't have, like I was talking about earlier, too many people already on with me. I just saw your comment. Dodo, sweetie, hey, how are you? You guys missed me on camera. "5'3", love. 5'3" what? Okay, I will make sure. Oh, Jeannie Lynn. That's right. Okay. So, because like I said, I can't have too many people on panel because I just interrupt people all the time and then I feel bad. So, but I'm making our thumbnail for tomorrow and I'll send it to you before I post it to get in, to make sure it's okay. And then I'll send everybody a link. And 10 o'clock, right, sweetie? 10 o'clock Eastern. Oh, Dodo. I'm sorry. I'm losing. I told you I lose it sometimes. My memory, my brain fog lately has been out of control. So I'm sorry, Dodo. I know you've been here because I was talking about how you were blocked out of YouTube or you got unsubscribed from me for some reason. I knew you were here. You just haven't been chatting recently. But Joy, I did go on camera in case you want to see me. You can rewind. I got to open wonderful gifts given to me by Maylin. Oh, you asked what I was up to. Gotcha. Ew. Ew. Sorry, guys. Blah. Okay. So, if you watched me open the wonderful gifts that Maylin sent to me, she sent me some delicious Starburst sour candy. However, I ate the cherry one, which was delicious. And then I opened a green one thinking it was green apple, but it was watermelon. Ugh. And I don't like fake watermelon taste. I have the same issue with watermelon taste that I do with fake banana taste. It reminds me of medicine for some reason. From when I was little, my mom used to always get the banana flavored antibiotics, liquid antibiotic when we were kids. And dude, that stuff would come up so fast, just like milk. If you put milk in my mouth, it's going to come right back out. Blah. You're okay, Dodo. Oh, you're baking some pastries. I love to bake. I love to cook. I just like being in the kitchen. I wish I had my bigger kitchen. I used to have a huge ass kitchen. I miss it. Okay, 10 o'clock tomorrow night. The four of us for right now. I'm gonna work on our thumbnail and I will send it to you. So sometime after you're done with Justice Served tonight, I will send it and then you can let me know what you think of it. Yeah, don't lie. You said 5'3". She did say 5'3" and then said 5'2". She gave herself an extra inch the first time. I have you all by 4 inches. I'm 5'7". All right, here we go. Ooh, this one's much better. Blueberry, I think. Yummy.
Softwares running on this infotainment system for various functions. So you can see here there's a firmware version for the Wi-Fi functionality as well as the OS version, the audio, the DVD function, and I believe there's a section for the CD or disc version. So what we're looking at is the software versions that are running on the exemplar. We're comparing that to the software versions that are running on the subject, and those match. So we would expect to see the user data to be stored in the same way.
Is it common that an exemplar vehicle will match the Focus vehicle exactly like this?
Yeah, so I wouldn't say it's common or uncommon. I have seen it in the past. A lot of times with your newer vehicles, you'll probably notice some of them tend to update more often than others. So this one, it looks like the Lexus doesn't update quite as often. So we are able to see that the software versions are the same.
If we could take that down, please. And if you could remind us before we go into your findings in that SD card that was left behind, what was the most important thing you were looking for as far as data on that SD card?
Sure. So the most important thing we're looking for is timestamped data, specifically related to power on or ignition on events.
If you were to find timestamp data for power on, power off ignition events, how would you use that? What would you use that in unison or comparison with the information that you already had?
Sure. So we would use that in comparison with provided surveillance videos to compare and see how accurate those timestamps are and how consistent they are, specifically on the night of January or the morning of January 29th.
When you analyzed the SD card, did you get viable information?
Yes, we did.
What information did you get?
So we've got a couple different data types. We got contact lists from some of the connected devices, as well as serial numbers and phone numbers associated with connected devices, call logs, and then power on and power off events.
Was your focus on one particular aspect of that data?
Primarily, the focus was on the power on and off events.
And did you find information regarding power and power off events that could date and time?
Yes, we did.
If we could have number 29, please. Can you share with us what you found?
Sure. So this is some screenshots from our exemplar testing. So again, these are from those cameras that I pointed out earlier. What we see when we go back and review this camera footage is we see when I press the ignition on button, there's actually a logo that appears on the infotainment screen as it's booting up. That time that logo appears on the screen is associated with a time that we see in the raw data, and that's in the hexadecimal data that is very small, so it's kind of hard to see. But essentially what you have is you've got a date and you've got a time in UTC, and then you've got a identifier that suggests that the vehicle's been powered on. So we've got 4 of these tests that we can kind of compare back to and determine that this is the time that the infotainment system powers on and that first logo screen appears. And then through testing, we can identify that that is approximately, ignition on is approximately 3 seconds before that timestamp.
So do I understand if you press the button to start the vehicle, there's a 3-second delay before the actual vehicle starts?
Correct. So not the actual vehicle starting. So you press the ignition on button, there's a 3-second delay in when the infotainment system powers on.
Is there any way, Ms. Goodman, to focus in on one of those 2 photos? Can you tell us what this information is?
Sure. So this is those camera angles. And what you see is I'm pressing the ignition on at this time. In that second photo on the right, you'll see that this is specifically approximately 3 seconds after I press that ignition on. And you see the Lexus logo appearing on the infotainment module.
Let me ask you something about the clocks while we're here. You see a local time on there?
Yes, I do.
Is that local time measured by a particular clock system?
Sure. So that's measured by our reference equipment. So we're using what's called V-Box equipment to capture these videos. So here, that local time is actually UTC time. So it's not actually local time for this area. So that could be a little, that could be an error in how that's reporting. But essentially what we're seeing is the infotainment system is powering on at that exact time of 21:48:08.
And this was for power on. Can we have number 31, please? How's this different than the one we just looked at?
Sure. So this is power off. So this is myself pressing the ignition to power off the vehicle. And what we see at this exact time when you power off and press the ignition button, the screen on the infotainment system becomes blank. And associated with that, it powers off. And you see a log within the raw data that indicates that.
You mentioned that you found power on, power off information. Can you explain what that means?
Sure. So through this testing, what we were able to do is see that there are timestamped power on and off events for when the infotainment system is recording a power on and power off.
Have a great day,
and then we validated that with the exemplar testing.
Ultimately, were you able to use that power on, power off timestamp information to identify the times of the later 2 events, the texting events, the 3-point turn and the backing maneuver?
Yes. In combination with other data, we were able to determine that.
Did you test the power on, power off data?
Yes, we did.
Could we have number 32, please? Can you tell us what this is?
Sure. So this is the first power on event after 12 o'clock on January 29th. That power event is happening at 12:36 up here in the top. And the vehicle is powered on and it's not powered off until 12:42:08.
Is there any power on, power off events in between those 2 times?
No, there's not.
And do you have an opinion to a reasonable degree of scientific certainty that whether or not the first power on event for that night, January 29, 2022, was 12:36 a.m.?
Yes.
What's the stated at this?
Do you have an opinion as to the first power on event of that Lexus on January 29, 2022? When you studied the information from the data, does this slide reflect the information that you studied?
Yes, it does.
Were you able to determine from your data study the time that was registered of when that Lexus was turned on for the first time on January 29, 2022?
Yes, I was.
How were you able to do that?
Sure. So through our exemplar testing and determining that those timestamps are accurate to when the vehicle was powered on, we are able to say that this power on event is the first power on event of January 29th after 12 a.m.
And based on your study of the exemplar and the data from the SD card, did you arrive at an opinion as to the time of the first power on event of that Lexus vehicle on January 29, 2022?
Yes, I did.
Is your opinion to a reasonable degree of scientific certainty?
Yes, it is.
And what is your opinion?
Yes, Your Honor. I'll see you in a second.
Mr. Burgess, could you explain for us how you can identify the power on event from the data that you discovered on that SD card that was left behind?
Sure. So through our exemplar testing, we can identify a power on event, which is depicting the time the logo on the infotainment system comes on, and then the time the infotainment system goes blank. So that is representing a power off event. And then we can reference that back to the ignition on, which occurs approximately 3 seconds before the power on, the infotainment power on event.
Is this a methodology that is used in your standard of practice?
Yes, it is.
And have you used this type of methodology before?
Yes, I have.
Is it a methodology that is regularly accepted in this type of analysis?
Yes, so this is a methodology that is regularly accepted in the digital forensics community, and it is a process of testing and then validating.
How does that process further validate the accuracy of the times that you are registering and finding?
Sure. So through that testing, we're able to validate that accuracy. And through that testing, we've got 4 tests that represent a power on event and 2 tests that represent a power off event. In addition to that, we are comparing that data to surveillance video with timestamps as well to show the consistency.
When you engaged in your testing, you said there was 4 test runs or examples. Did you analyze it to see how in fact accurate it was?
Yes, I did.
And how accurate was it?
It was accurate to the second compared to our reference clock.
And when you actually take the data from that SD card, how do you interpret it? How do you get it from a piece of plastic with metal on it to actual numbers and data?
Sure. So the process of that, again, is we're making connection to those technological pads on the SD card, and we're pulling that raw data. Once we have that raw data, there's a few processes we have to go through to make that raw data interpretable. So those processes are what's called XOR scrambling. So when data is stored on an SD card, there are 2 components to the SD card. There's what's called the NAND component, and then there's a controller component. The controller component is where that, if you remember, that command 42 lock is located in that controller component. So what we're doing is we're bypassing that controller, we're accessing that NAND, and then we're using forensic software to determine and interpret the XOR scrambling that is put in place on that NAND, so that we can take that scrambled data and be able to read it and interpret it, as well as what's called error correction code. So NAND devices are not, they're not great at keeping voltages accurate like they should, and that's just based on how the architecture and how the NAND components are manufactured. So what the manufacturers have done is they've put in place error correction code to correct any bit errors within that data. So what we've done is we've identified the error correction code and the XOR scrambling using software known as Resolute. That software, again, is hardware and software that we use to access that data and process it and interpret it. From there, we can take that data and we can review it in that hexadecimal format.
And based on that methodology and that process and that study, were you able to extract the data from the SD card and identify the first power on event of the defendant's Lexus on January 29, 2022 to a reasonable degree of scientific certainty?
Yes, I was.
And do you have an opinion about what time that Lexus, the defendant's Lexus, was powered on December 29, 2022 for the first time?
Yes, that would be approximately 12:36.
Doesn't matter.
Is that to a reasonable degree of scientific certainty?
Yes, it is.
Everything you say right now is going to get blown out of the
On the
water.
screen. Is the power on event, is that the same as your interpretation?
Alessi,
Yes, it is.
with you.
The 12:36 a.m. time, what time clock is that based on?
Sure. So that's based on the internal clock in the Lexus.
The clock in the Lexus, is that a universal time, or do clocks on different devices run differently?
Sure. So it's not a universal time. Clocks on different devices run differently. So if you've ever noticed that your microwave clock is not running in sync with your iPhone, the same thing is occurring here. Even though the Lexus clock is communicating back and forth with the GPS satellites and other things, the clock is still not synchronized perfectly. So you would not expect this clock to match up perfect with other devices.
When you're considering 2 very different or separate devices, if the time is different, what would that be called?
Sure. So that would be called what's called a clock variance.
I want to get into that later, but I want to finish what we have in front of us now.
Sure.
In addition to identifying the first power on event of January 29, 2022 of the defendant's Lexus at 12:36, were you able to identify the first power off event of that same Lexus for January 29, 2022?
Yes, I was. And that was at 12:42:08 approximately.
Did you use the same methodology and vetting that you did in testing that you did with the power on event?
Yes, I did.
And do you have an opinion if that time is accurate to a reasonable degree of scientific certainty?
Yes, I do.
And what is that opinion?
So that opinion is that time is reliable to the second as far as the Lexus clock is concerned.
What is the graph on the bottom showing us?
Sure. So the graph is just a graphical representation of the same data, representing the power on event on a timeline at 12:36 and the power off event at approximately 12:42:08.
When you're looking at times, power on and power off events to date and time it, are you obtaining that information independent of other outside information?
Yes, I am.
Is the data simply the data, or does something affect it?
Sure. So no, the data is simply the data. So when we get the data, we can compare it to outside sources or external sources to verify that it's consistent with other sources. But the data does not depend on any outside sources.
Do you oftentimes use outside sources to vet or test the data, even though it's a totally separate concept?
Yes, I do.
After this power on, power off event, when you studied the data from the SD card using the same methodology and technique, did you find any other subsequent power on and power off events for the defendant's Lexus on January 29, 2022 after this event?
Yes, I did.
Can we have slide 33, please? Mr. Burgess, can you tell us what the next event is that you found in the data?
Sure. So the next power on event occurs at 5:07:46. That's this top timestamp here. The infotainment system records a power off event after that at 5:46:20. And what we have here is we've got a surveillance video that was provided that depicts the approximate time range that those two events happen. So these videos do not capture the actual power on or power off event, but they occur around the same time frame and they are consistent with one another.
The power on event time that you've listed is 5:07:46. Where does that time come from?
So that time is coming from the internal Lexus clock.
And based on the data from the Lexus clock, do you have an opinion as to the accuracy of that time of 5:07:46 a.m. as it relates to the Lexus clock?
Yes, I do.
And what's your opinion?
So compared to the Lexus clock, that time is accurate to the second.
The videos you have, are those timed from the same Lexus clock or a different source?
No, so those timestamps of the videos are coming from external sources. In the example of these videos, I believe that is a Ring camera.
Why would you try to vet the timestamp that you've identified to the second from the Lexus clock with another item, including a video that uses a different clock?
Sure. So that further validates that those timestamps are accurate and they're consistent with timestamps we're seeing from other devices.
Can there be a variance with other devices?
There can be a variance.
If there's a variance, could that still corroborate or support the original timestamp from the Lexus clock?
Yes. So even with a variance, those timestamps can still be consistent with one another.
And on the two photographs, are those videos or photographs?
Those are videos.
What is the purpose of including a video?
Sure. So the purpose of including the video is just to depict that the video does not actually capture the power on or power off event. But again, it is around the same time frame that the power on and power off event occurred.
Ms. Gilman, are you able to play the video to the left? Okay, thank you. What about that video vets or corroborates the 5:07:46 Lexus time on the power on event?
Objection, Your Honor. A little bit more before you get to that.
Okay. Did you use the video that we just saw in an attempt to vet or corroborate the timestamp for the power on event on the Lexus?
Yes, I did.
How did you do that?
Sure. So looking at the start timestamp on the video, we can see that the video starts at approximately 5:07:58. Keeping in mind this timestamp is coming from the camera or the Ring video, the Ring camera itself. And when we look at the power on event, we see that it occurs at 5:07:46. So although we don't see the actual time of the power on event, that is consistent with what we would expect.
The power, I was just going to say
on the
the
right?
same thing.
So video on the right helps us do the same thing. So when we look at the power off event, that occurs at 5:46:20. Again, when we look at the Ring video on the right, that start timestamp of that video is 5:46:29. So again, we missed the power off portion of when that occurs, but that is consistent again with what we would expect.
Could we play the video on the right? If you can enlarge, that'd be helpful. If not, if you can stop the video, please. Mr. Burgess, you see the lights are on that vehicle?
Yes, I do.
Can you tell if the vehicle's on or off at that point?
Sure. So I cannot tell if the vehicle is on or off at that point. Typically, when you power off a Lexus or a modern vehicle, the lights will stay on for some portion of time afterwards. But again, that is consistent with the timestamp from the power off event.
And do you have an opinion to a reasonable degree of scientific certainty as to the accuracy of the power on and power off events as they pertain to the Lexus clock?
Yes, I do.
And what is that opinion?
And that is that those timestamps are accurate to the second.
Did you further follow the data to see if there was any other power on, power off events relative to the Lexus to January 29, 2022?
Yes, I did.
Could you take us to Exhibit 34, please? What is this, Mr. Burgess?
Sure. So this is the next time that the vehicle is powered on and subsequently powered off. That power on event occurs at 12:35:01. The power off event occurs at 2:12:01. And then this video is a video from alarm.com surveillance that depicts the vehicle pulling into a driveway and shutting off. So when we look at the video and we watch the video, you can actually see at 2:12:01 in the video timestamp that the windshield wipers stop moving and the vehicle's suspension begins to lower, indicating that the ignition button has been pressed.
Let's start with the power on event. Was there any video available to show the power on event at 12:35:01?
There is no video available that I'm aware of.
On the last slide, you had the power off event at 5:46:20 a.m.
Correct.
Was there any other power on, power off events between 5:46:20 a.m. and this event here?
No, there was not.
Did you try to obtain any collateral or cooperative video or evidence relative to the power on event at 12:35:01?
I did request or make a request to see if there was any video available, and as far as I'm aware, there was not.
Regarding the power on event, do you have an opinion to a reasonable degree of scientific certainty
Katie
as to the accuracy of the power on event as it relates to the Lexus clock on the system?
Yes, I do.
And what is that opinion?
That is that power on event is accurate to the second in reference to the Lexus clock.
12:35:01 p.m.?
Correct.
Look at,
You have an
I mean,
opinion as to the
look
power
at
off
that
event to a
patch
reasonable
of
degree of scientific
hair. I
certainty as
just
to the
want to make
accuracy from the
fun of
data
it
recovered from the SD card.
so
Yes, I
bad.
do. And that power off event again occurred at approximately 2:12:01, according to the Lexus clock.
I don't know if you can enlarge the video, Ms. Gilman, but if you can, and if not, you can play anyways. Thank you. And could you explain for us the graph on the bottom of that exhibit, or pardon me, of that diagram?
Sure. So that graph
Zach
again is just a
in here
timeline
calling you
graphical
chubs,
representation
Katie.
of when that power off event occurred, and when the power on event occurred, and when the power off event occurred.
He must have went
at
to. He must have
12:35:01 and 2:12:01.
Based on the data you analyzed from the SD card, was there any further power on and power off events on January 29, 2022 after this 12:35:01 to 2:12:01 event?
Yes, there was.
Could you display for us page 35, Ms. Gilman? And what is this, Mr. Burgess?
Sure. So this is the next power on event that is recorded within the system. And that power on event occurs approximately 4:11:46, and the power off event occurs at 4:12:56. The video we see is that same alarm.com surveillance video. The start timestamp of that video is 4:12:03. So again, we don't see the actual power on and off event within the video, but it is consistent with what we would expect as the power on event occurring at 4:11:46, and then the video starting, and we see the car backing up at 4:12:03.
Would the alarm.com be using a different clock than that of the Lexus?
It would be, yes.
Based on your methodology and vetting and testing and view of the data on the SD card, do you have an opinion to a reasonable degree of scientific certainty as to the time of this power on event?
Yes, so that power on event would be 4:11:46.
And do you have an opinion as to the time of the power off event related to this diagram?
Yes, that would be 4:12:56.
Is that opinion as well to a reasonable degree of scientific certainty?
Yes, it is.
Is that a photograph or a video?
That is also a video.
Ms. Gilman, could you help us?
He probably lost 2 pounds on the stand, right? Oh, you are not chubby at all. Shut up. I'm just teasing because he's always in here calling you chubs. But the glare went live, and I bet you he dumped me for the glare. It's okay. We're gonna stop. I'm gonna stop streaming this bozo's testimony in about
And
20
similarly,
minutes.
this graph,
We can
give a
watch
general idea of
later.
the time?
I'm
Yes,
just
so
concerned.
similarly, the graph is a timeline representation of the power on and power off event.
Mr. Burgess, was there an additional power on, power off event after the power off event at 4:12:56 p.m. at the Dighton residence?
Yes, there was.
Ms. Gilman, could you show us number 36, please? Mr. Burgess, can you take us through this one?
Sure. So this is the next or power on event that occurs. And that power on event occurs at 5:34:51 p.m. The power off event occurs at 5:36:42. Again, the video that is associated with this does not show the power on or the power off event, but it shows the time just before the vehicle is arriving to this location on a tow truck, and that would be consistent with the vehicle then being powered off and backed off of the tow truck at that time.
And based on your analysis of the data, do you have an opinion to a reasonable degree of scientific certainty what time this power on event took place?
Yes, and that time would be 5:34:51.
And that's according to the internal Lexus clock?
Yes, it is.
Do you have an opinion
Well,
to a reasonable degree of
I went on camera today and to open the gift that Maylin sent me. Oh my God, she sent me so many awesome little things to get me organized. I'm so excited. After I went off camera, I sat here and organized all the shit she sent me. So I'm gonna get my shit together. I promise you. And the first thing I did was talk about my weight because when you're on camera, and my teeth, the issues I got going on with my teeth, because the instant you go on camera, everyone's gonna be a judge, but it is what it is. I still got about 40 pounds to lose since I gained all that weight with my surgeries and that. But you know what? As long as you're comfortable with yourself and you're healthy, that's all that matters. Can I have a napkin, please? I need to wipe my face and head. I know, right? Yes, I did. Aw, you're so sweet. If you rewind, make sure that you rewind so you hear all the stuff that I talk about, why my teeth are the way they are and all that, because it's just a mess. But I'm going through getting full implants. Tops are done, bottoms are not, and I couldn't find my temporaries because I don't wear them unless I have to because they hurt. So just keep that in mind. But I did. I finally went on camera. This is what happens when the mod leaves. I love it, Dar.
Scientific certainty when this vehicle was then powered off.
Yes, and that would be 5:36:42.
Again, pursuant to the Lexus clock.
Correct.
After this event at 5:34:51 p.m. to 5:36:42 p.m., when you studied the data, were there any other power on or power off events for this Lexus vehicle on January 29, 2022?
Not that I studied after this event.
Now, we touched on an issue earlier. I want you to give your opinions and explain to the jury. You mentioned the word variance between different items. I don't think you used the word items. You said something else.
Sure. So that's going to be the clock variance between different devices. So in this instance, what we're referring to is the difference in the clocks of the Lexus module and an iPhone. So we would not expect those clocks to be perfectly synced. Typically what we see, and is what is generally accepted, is a clock variance of up to 60 seconds. And that is because when you think about when you're looking at your radio and you're looking at the clock, it's representing to you the hours and the minutes. It's not representing the seconds. So again, it's accurate. Its function is to be accurate to the minute, but its function is not to be accurate to the second.
Is a variance between different devices an accepted concept in your community?
But
yes, it is an accepted concept in my community.
I love that you're here, Dar.
When you were looking for power on, power off information from the data on the SD card, what clock would that information, that time be dependent on?
I know,
Sure, so
I
that's
agree.
going to be dependent on the
I
Lexus
wanna
clock.
make fun,
That Lexus clock is.
As a mom, and even though he's a punk, all I want to do is wipe that one piece of hair that's sticking straight down off that patch he's got going in the middle there. It's like, just move it. That's all I want. I just keep wanting to wipe it away.
Continuously running, but it also syncs up with GPS systems to update the clock on occasion. We do not know how frequent that activity occurs because that is proprietary to the manufacturer themselves.
To bring us back, when you started this case, there were two important tech stream events.
Correct. There were two tech stream events.
Remind us what those were.
Sure. So one is going to be associated with a 3-point turn, and the other is going to
Oh
be.
my God! Why do the lawn people come at the most inopportune times? I don't even have my windows open, and it's so fucking loud. If you guys can hear that, I'm sorry. Every time he comes by the window, it's so annoying. But thank you. You are so sweet. My hair needs to be dyed, which is something else I show on camera. My hair dye that has been sitting here that I need to get done because everyone's like, I thought you had purple hair. I'm like, I do. It's just worn out. The last time I dyed my hair, it's all gone now. So I got to re-dye my hair, which I'm going to do tonight since tomorrow I'm going on with Joy and I keep forgetting who's coming on with us. Anyway, there's going to be several of us girls chit-chatting the night away, talking shit tomorrow night at 10 o'clock. Be here, be square. So I will try to go on camera at least for a little while tomorrow night as well, because we're going to have some fun. But I need to dye my hair. So that's what I'm going to do tonight to make sure tomorrow you guys will see my actual purple hair that I normally have. Jeannie Lynn, what's up, sweetie? I just figured, aw, you guys, aw. I am not that pretty, but thank you. I appreciate you guys. I mean, I just hope that I still look enough like my photos that I showed you, because they're not that old. Yes, they're not like very recent, but I still pretty much look the same. I just gained a little weight. That's all. And yes, I'm 47 years old. People don't like to believe me about that either. See, this is what I'm saying. I say that and then this comes up. You look like you're 22. I get that a lot. I get carded for lottery tickets, for heaven's sakes. Well, I haven't bought a lottery ticket in a long time. But I think the last time I got carded for scratch offs was, I think I was like 41. Maybe in late 30s. It could have been late 30s. But if I ever buy like a bottle of wine for somebody, I'm always carded for alcohol. Always. Ooh, you might be here. An Australian dude wants me to watch his stream. Can't remember who. You are not. You're 22. Okay, I'm 22. Just like Baker's 27, right? That's the way it works. Oh, so the secret is to dye my hair purple? The secret is, I don't know. I got lucky. Because funny enough, you want to talk about genetics. My mom and my grandma all looked young. I showed a picture of my mom the other day, and we looked a lot alike. And my mom looked younger than she did for many, many years. My grandma, the same. And I just got lucky there. As far as everything else goes, my hair, especially, I was born with shit ton of hair. So even though you should see just today, like washing my hair today, because I obviously do not wash my hair every day. That's one of the biggest things I can tell you. Do not wash your hair every day. But I don't wash my hair every day. Other than that, I can't tell you. I've been dyeing my hair since I was 16, so it's not that. And actually, until I went through menopause, my hair used to grow so slow. And then, like, when I last dyed my hair in, what was it? It was like not even 2 months ago. I chopped 6 inches off, and it's already, down the middle of my back again. So go through menopause, and I don't know. I don't have any secrets. I tell people this. People ask me that about my skin. Like, how do you look so young? First and foremost, it's genetics about that. It just ran in my mom's family. My hair, the thickness of it is from my dad. Just like I got his ridiculously short, fat fingers. I got my dad's hands. I got his hair. My mom had nice hair, but her hair was very thin. And then, even now, like I was saying, every time I wash my hair, you would not believe the clumps of hair that come out. The amount of hair I lose on a daily basis is insane. Like, I can't even express to you what it's like to live. This is why I wear my hair up so much when I'm just sitting at home, because I can't stand. Everywhere I go, there's hair everywhere. I have to sweep my kitchen floor and my bathroom floor like every couple of days, and it's just hair everywhere. And then when I wash my hair, it just comes out in clumps, and yet I still have a lot of hair. I don't know. I don't. Oh, and as far as the skin goes, I do not have any ridiculous skincare routine. I do not spend lots of money on cleanser and serums and all of the above. I literally wash my face with soap and water and makeup remover. That's it. And I use very little makeup. I use foundation, eyeliner, eyeshadow, and mascara. That's it. Chapstick. I don't get carded. What does that tell you? All that tells me is that down south in Kentucky, they don't card people. That's what it tells me. I had purple and pink stripes and went to a Yankees game in New York. They wanted to interview me. I was like, isn't this New York? You can't find this interesting. Right? Like wow. You'd think you'd see a lot weirder things than purple and pink hair in New York. Thank you, Jeannie Lynn. You guys are so sweet. All these compliments. I don't know what to do with them. I'm not used to them, honestly. Besides being told I look young. When I was younger, I hated it. I always said I'd appreciate it when I got into my 40s, and now here I am. I got carded recently, and I stood there stunned. The chick said, well, I don't know who you are. The fuck? Thought New York was progressive. Bye, Dodo. Have a great one, sweetie. Katie D says, you got them good hair genes. My dad has the best hair. He still rocks a perfect 60s pompadour, and I've never seen him without his hair combed. I did not get his genes for hair. Yeah, I guess I got lucky. Moni G is back. What's up? Yeah, so I used to get, when I used to work outside of my home, the questions I would always get when people found out my age was always, what do you do for your skin? Like, honestly, they thought that I must use some sort of serum or moisturizer and all of the above, and I don't have the money to, first and foremost. And then, oops. I just never have. So my mom always washed her face with soap and water and had a makeup remover. And so that's what I did. That's what I still do. Oh, Katie D's got to work. Stupid work always gets in the way. I use nothing. I'm the cheapest date ever. I'm the cheapest date ever. I don't drink. And if I did, I wouldn't even need a full cocktail. I'd be like half a one, and I'd be like, woo, I'm good to go. Farm hair, don't care. I like that. That's funny. All right, so it is what, 5:40? All right, let's watch 10 more minutes of this bozo. And then if I could redirect you, I would redirect you to Justice Serve TV. Broken Baker is on with them at 6 o'clock. And of course, I want to watch that. So we will watch 10 more minutes of this clown, and then we are going to go enjoy us some Baker.
Associated with a backing maneuver.
In those two tech stream events, are they related in any way to the running clock that is on the tech stream data?
Sure. So when we think back, the tech stream events have that running clock from ignition on. And because we know the power on events from the infotainment module, we can reconcile when those time counts occurred.
If there's information about timing from tech stream data on the Lexus, what would you have to do if you took a separate device like an iPhone and you wanted to reconcile the variance?
Sure. So if we want to reconcile the variance, what we would need is we would need an event that occurs that both clocks record. So for instance, if you've got two cameras that are recording you jumping up and down, you would take your motion of jumping up and down, or your event of jumping up and down, and you would use that event to sync the clocks of those two cameras. So essentially, we're doing the same thing with the Lexus clock and the iPhone clock.
When you did your analysis during this case, initially, did you have any interest in trying to reconcile those clocks?
No, I did not.
Why not?
Because that is generally accepted that the clock variance is up to 60 seconds. And while reviewing the power on and off events and comparing that to the surveillance videos that were provided, that was consistent with what we would have expected.
Did something compel you to further your study and compare the Lexus clock information on those two text stream events, the 3-point turn and the backing maneuver, to a different device?
Yes, there was a claim of attempting to synchronize those two clocks that I believe was potentially misleading.
So based on reviewing that information and coming to that conclusion, did you on your own do any further study about the difference in clocks and attempt to synchronize them?
Yes, I did.
You said that you can synchronize if you have more than one device identifying a particular time. What do you mean by that?
Sure. So if we've got two devices that are recording a similar event, so let's say, for instance, a 3-point turn, if that is recorded with an iPhone, with the iPhone's clock, we can compare that event to the time that that event occurs and is recorded by the Lexus.
Were you aware of a device other than the Lexus recording that 3-point turn?
Yes, I was.
What were you aware of?
That would be an iPhone from Mr. O'Keefe.
Did you have data and information from Mr. O'Keefe's phone some time ago?
I did have partial location data from Mr. O'Keefe's iPhone.
Did you do something with his iPhone data as it relates to the Lexus clock on those two events, the 3-point turn and the backing maneuver?
I did on the 3-point turn, yes, and the backing maneuver.
Tell us what you did.
Sure. So I looked at when the 3-point turn occurred within the iPhone data and the location data in reference to that clock, and then looked at the same 3-point turn event as it was recorded from the text stream and the Lexus clock.
At some point, did you have enough data to make that full analysis?
Yes, I did.
That was a general concept. Before we get to the 3-point turn in detail, I want to turn to page 39 of the PowerPoint. Can you explain to us the concept of synchronizing clocks?
Sure. So this is kind of a graphical representation of how to synchronize a clock. So essentially, like I said, we're taking a event that occurs. In this instance, it's a 3-point turn. We have data where that 3-point turn is recorded within an iPhone, and we have data where that 3-point turn is recorded within the Lexus. Those events have clocks associated with them. So in order to reconcile the difference in
Yeah, we'll get into Alessi tomorrow. Alessi's cross-examination. His direct is about 20 more minutes. So whatever we don't finish in the direct will be tomorrow. And then the rest of his testimony, which is like 4 hours, is all cross-examination by Alessi.
those clocks, we are comparing the clock times for the event from each device and moving or adjusting the clock for one compared to the other.
In addition to specializing in data and computers and cars, you also mentioned that you specialize in mobile phones.
Yes, I do.
Did you use your experience in your training and your education to analyze the iPhone data from Mr. O'Keefe's phone as it related to the information from the Lexus vehicle?
Yes. Yes.
You did?
I did.
Okay. Did you see what type of information was being stored on Mr. O'Keefe's cell phone as far as location data?
In reference to location data, Mr. O'Keefe's iPhone is recording timestamps, GPS position, speed, and heading. So heading is going to be the direction that the iPhone is facing.
Was there any particular application that you were aware of that he was using?
Yes, as far as I'm aware, he was using the Waze app for navigation.
Could we have number 39, please? Could you tell us what this shows, Mr. Burgess?
Sure. So specifically what we're looking at within the location data is a 2-minute window. So that 2-minute window we see here graphically plotted on a map. And we see, it's hard to tell, but you can see a white dot, which is the center of a radius for a GPS position. The orange circles are the horizontal accuracy for each one of those positions. And then down here, you can see a black line that is coming off of each GPS position that represents the heading or the direction that the iPhone is facing.
You mentioned you had some materials from Mr. Whiffen. Did you ever see any materials from Mr. Whiffen regarding location data that was acquired through the application Waze?
Yes, I did see a report by Mr. Whiffen.
Did you rely on his report, or did you independently, on your own, test the location information?
Sure. So I independently, on my own, looked at the location data from Mr. O'Keefe's phone.
This diagram that we see with all the points on it, is this developed from your own independent view and review of Mr. O'Keefe's location data?
It is.
To the top left is a round circle. What does that indicate?
Sure. So top left. So yeah, so that's going to be, again, the GPS coordinate beginning for this 2-minute interval that we're looking at. The orange circle is going to be the horizontal accuracy for that GPS point.
And then bring us down and up to the left. There seems to be a bigger circle on the top.
Sure. So as we come down, I believe what is Cedar Crest and go up Cedar Crest, we have a position where the course heading of the iPhone changes, the speed lowers, and we have a lot more GPS points in a centralized location. So that's why you see that overlapping circles in that location.
When you're following and analyzing Mr. O'Keefe's location information, does this in any way relate to the first of those two text stream events that you originally were focused on?
It does relate to the first text stream event, which identifies a 3-point turn.
And again, although you're not an accident reconstructionist, do you know if there's data that was captured regarding this 3-point turn as far as an event?
Yes, I'm aware of data that was captured during that 3-point turn event.
If we could turn to page 40, please. I want you to explain to us how this chart works. What does a point mean?
Sure. So when we were initially provided the location data, again, we were provided a partial view or a partial data set of that location data. And within that Excel spreadsheet that data was provided in,
I'm so
it was
sorry,
identified as
Jeannie Lynn.
GPS points.
I saw
so
that.
What we've got here is we've got the.
Shut up, Burgess. I really don't care. I saw your post in Discord, Jeannie. I'm so sorry. Dar had a spill yesterday too. You guys are falling all over the place. And I said, please don't be like me, who literally dislocated my shoulder because I missed a step. My stupid foot didn't want to raise high enough. Missed a step, grabbed the railing, and face planted and twisted. Oh no, I didn't face plant that one. I twisted my arm so much by trying to grab it and catch myself that I literally pulled my shoulder out of the socket. Then last year, or 2 summers ago, I face planted my brick stairs. Thought I broke my nose. I do shit like that all the time. So please be careful, you guys. All these falls remind me of me. You slipped on a dog toy. Oh, I'm so sorry, sweetie. You guys, take it easy. Lots of ice, some ibuprofen, and elevate. Oh my God. A few days ago, a dumpster fell on my neckline. What? Now it looks like I've been strangled. I can't win for nothing. Oh my God. How the hell do you get a dumpster that falls on your own? Ow! Ow! Yeah, getting older sucks. We don't bounce when we fall. Nope. We just break shit. Oh, yeah, Mary, this is what I'm saying. All these falls, you guys, be careful. I mean, I work for an orthopedic surgeon, so I can give it, some advice when you have falls and twists and sprains and even surgeries I know a lot about because I work for an orthopedic surgeon. Like, I have surgeons that do exactly what happened to Mary B. In the winter, we see a lot of breaks from people snowboarding and skiing. That's the busiest time. Otherwise, the surgeons do a lot of replacements, But please be careful, you guys. You saw a snake? Twisted at the last minute, completely injured myself, all for a freaking snake. I don't even like snakes. Well, that's the point. You don't like them, and they freaked you out like they would freak anyone out, and you try to get away from it. Totally understand that. But see, I do the same shit. I try to run so fast away that I trip and fall. So I feel ya. Last time I did a cartwheel, I bounced because I was wearing really great sledge heels. Totally stupid. You guys are cracking me up. It's a fire. That's for sure. You guys, they're falling all over the place. It's true. Everybody's falling. All right. Just be careful, everyone. So, well, we had a good laugh for today. At least I did, anyways. Oh, shot. Yep. So guys, I'm going to get one thing ready to go out on, and then I ask of you to go watch Baker on Justice Served TV. He's been in not the best of moods lately, talking over some really sad cases, and I don't know what else is going on, but he doesn't seem like his normal happy self. So let's go give him some support. Being interviewed by Justice Served. I'm so excited that they invited him on. But while I get ready to say goodbye, we are going to do this. Until I get an outro of my own, I'm just going to start playing this. So, everyone, you guys have a great evening. You thought I meant giggles? Oh my God, too funny. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. I love the expert. That, I'll be honest though, that clip goes on for just a wee bit too long because it's funny and then it's not. It gets annoying after too long. Oh my God, Jeannie Lynn. Ow. Ow. Jeez. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching me on camera for the first time and watching me open an amazing gift from Maylin. And I know she's not here right now, but I do have to just give her the biggest shout out. Again, she sent me some amazing things to get my unorganized ass organized, which I'm totally going to do. I cannot thank her enough, and everyone else that has helped me just in being here, or has sent me a few donations, or just helped me laugh during the day. I will forever be in your debt. I will always appreciate you. And I love you guys. I will see you guys, hopefully, in Justice Served as we give our Baker some support. Yes, very much. Thank you, Dar. And Maylin was amazing for sending that to me. I truly, truly appreciate it. Here we go. Bye, guys. I love you. I'll see you soon.
I've been biting my tongue for so long.
It sounds really funny that fast. Hold on. Let's get this right.
I've been biting my tongue for so long. Fuck you, Hank. Think you're better than me? Fuck you, Hank. You are not lolly. Fuck you, Hank. Think you're better than me? Fuck you, Hank. Well, why don't we see? I'm a basic kind of guy, I really don't need a flaunt. Smoking 6 packs a day and I'm happy as a hog. All I do is mumble, do I really need any lungs? The trial 1 jury was just like me, they were hung. Trial 2 came around and you wanna bench me? Not one guilty vote, was embarrassing to see. Need to remind you that my jury was 9-3. Take your little OUI and get about the scene. Fuck you, Hank. Think you're better than me? Fuck you, Hank. You are not lolly. Fuck you, Hank. Think you're better than me? Fuck you, Hank. Well, why don't we see? Oh, I know what will get us the win. Ask Rich about his fucking ham sandwich again. That'll prove this beyond all reasonable doubt. Oh, who am I kidding? This shit is a rout. You took this case so damn personally, and I hold that opinion to a scientific certainty. You weasel face, fuck bet, Arca Major P. Even with all the help you got from Beverly. Standing ovation. What a robust cross. Psych. Your nerdy ass looks so fucking lost. Just think, $500,000 was all it cost to get our asses kicked in the fucking law. Fuck you, hey, hey. Think you're better than me? Fuck you, hey. You are not lolly. Think you're better than me? Well, why don't we see?
Hey, how'd that case with the middle school teacher go? I hear you're taking more L's than the Commonwealth.